Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here, and it's a Wow Wednesday. And I'm having technical difficulties again this morning. The microphone was not working. And then when I was trying to reset the stream, the chat wasn't showing up. So I had to do a bit of work for 10 minutes trying to get the chat to show up so that you guys could write in. I could actually see what you guys are writing. So, yeah, technical issues. I apologize once again. And it is from my end, Amit. Don't worry. It's not from your end. It's just dumb stuff happening here with the computer not reading the microphone. So there's no audio. And then I try and reset up the stream, and Yahoo or YouTube is not giving me my chat box so that I can see you guys writing in there. So saying chat is unavailable. I can't really do the stream interactively without the chat. So I had to wait for YouTube to fix itself so that we could have a chat. And that took about 10 minutes. It's kind of weird. Usually it's very fast and it's able to like, okay, but no, sorry, chat's not available. Anyway, let's get to the subject at hand today. Yesterday, when we did the trivia, we were doing history of basketball in Canada, and we keyed on the subject of the Naismith Cup. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper on the Naismith Cup in some ways today, because this is a real modern day basketball mystery. This is something that I feel like we could easily solve, possibly, but maybe not. Maybe it isn't as simple as I think it is, but we're pretty sure we know where it might be. And I have a picture of it on the stream for today. And that is former Raptors GM Rob Babcock, the man who traded Vince Carter to New Jersey, holding the Naismith Cup. That's what it looks like. I wanted to make sure that our friend Amit, who's going to do the work to help us here, knows what the cup looks like, so that when he goes to try and see if he can locate it, he'll be able to see what it looks like. Obviously, it's a very much like a tennis cup. It's kind of a round bowl with a base, and on the side of it, it says the Naismith Cup. It literally says it on the side of it, the Naismith Cup. So it'll make it easier for Amit when he goes to investigate and see if he can find it, if he knows the shape of the cup and what it looks like. So we know what the Naismith Cup looks like. There's a lot of different trophies out there that are called the Naismith Trophy, but they're for different things. It's like there's ones for college and there's ones for international play in different places. So we want to make sure we get the right Naismith Cup. And that one that Rob Babcock is holding in the picture for today's stream is exactly the right Naismith Cup. It makes sense because this is probably shortly after it just disappeared, because Rob Babcock was the GM of the Raptors in 2005. And that's when the cup went missing. So I could speculate that it probably was taken back to Tel Aviv. And, part of it is this. When Tel Aviv beat the Raptors in 2005 in the Naismith Cup, that was the first time ever an international team had beaten an NBA team on their court. It was kind of a bad day for the Raptors' history, because they did something that no other team in the NBA had ever done, and that was lose to an international team on their home court. And that is kind of sad. I mean, it was 106-104, and it was the Raptors post Vince Carter in this preseason before the season after Vince Carter left in the middle of the season. So they were in a bad place, obviously. And, they were in an even worse place when they lost the Naismith Cup 106-104 to Tel Aviv. So, I mean, I have a feeling, since Amit's told us that at their arena over there in Israel, they have a huge amount of trophies all over the place in the arena, that is where it is. And I think that some people are saying, oh, we don't know where it is. But I think they do know where it is on the down low, and they just don't care. I could speculate this, because the Raptors were very disrespected in 2005, extremely disrespected. They're all still disrespected. But just imagine how badly disrespected and made fun of they were at 2005, especially after Vince Carter turned his back on us, and we were the laughingstock of the league in some ways at that time. So have Maccabi Tel Aviv come in and beat the Raptors 106-104 and take that trophy. Well, they earned it. They did win and they took it, but I don't know if it was supposed to never, ever come back after 20 years. You know what I'm saying? In some ways, this smacks of colonization and plunder. It smacks of Egyptian artifacts in a museum in the UK. that kind of stuff. So it's like we want our heritage, our Naismith Cup back. It's Canadian Cup to celebrate Canadian teams. So if we could find this cup and get it back into circulation, that'd be badass. I would implore the Toronto Raptors franchise to look into this and try and figure out a way to locate it and also do this, because honestly, there's nothing like intrigue in history. There's nothing like a mystery like this. And it's very rare that we get basketball mysteries. You know what I'm saying? Usually the NBA world is so over speculated. Any kind of mystery is not very common. So I would say this, Masai, you could make a whole interesting thing out of this MLSE if you guys can find it, and we can restart the Naismith Cup after 20 years of absence. And, you could do it how you want to. You could do it again where you're playing international teams, or maybe they should just play the Memphis Grizzlies like they used to, because it's still the heritage of the Vancouver Grizzlies, even though they play in Memphis. Maybe the Naismith Cup will be revived by NBA expansion when Montreal gets a team once again, and we need that cup for when the Montreal NBA team plays the Toronto Raptors. Either way, I think that there's something in this that could make a very interesting story, a very interesting publicity thing that the Raptors could do. I say, let's do this honorably. We don't need, to do anything crazy like lawsuits or anything like that. We say bring the cup back and let us play for it to get it back. I think the interest in that game, if you hype it up right, NBA, Adam Silver, Masai Ujiri, could be really, really high. You guys could really make it more dramatic than it is and say this cup has been gone for 20 years, and then it's now time to compete for it again. And, the first step is trying to locate it. Now, people say they don't know where it is. They're going to go, well, we're going to try and figure it out. We're going to track it down, Columbo style. We're going to see the trail of where it was. Even though the trail is way cold 20 years later, we're going to try and figure it out step by step. And, well, the next step is to have our Raptor freak on site, Amit, the GOAT, to head down to the arena where Tel Aviv Maccabi plays and see if he can locate it in their trophy case. Because I may think that, people say, oh, we don't know where it is. Well, they may be saying over there they don't know where it is, and nobody over here went over there to bother to see if they do have it over there and where it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a lot of the Toronto journalists and a lot of the Canadian sports writers are getting over there and flying to Israel and walking around in the Maccabi arena to see if that's where it actually is. Who knows? Maybe some rich guy has it and he just hid it in his mansion or something like that. I don't know. Either way, we want to see if it is in the trophy case at Maccabi Tel Aviv's arena. And that's what Amit's going to do. He's going to go down there. He knows what it looks like, and he's going to go through the trophy cases and see if he can see the Naismith Cup there. In some ways, this is a patriotic thing that Amit is doing for Canada and Israel, because in some ways, this is something that we need to see back in circulation for competitiveness. And in some ways, it serves the club, Maccabi Tel Aviv, to put it back into circulation, because they get prestige from being the only team foreign wise that beat an NBA team on their court. And in some ways, I'm telling you, this is gold as far as a storyline, MLSE, Masai Ujiri, and Adam Silver in the NBA. Seriously, make this happen, especially in this year coming up with the Global Stars versus USA and the All-Star, and also the Winter Olympics going on this coming up this year. You guys could get that international feel going right away if you could find this thing and schedule it in the preseason this year in sometime in October, where the Raptors as a club will play Tel Aviv Maccabi once again in the fall. And we can see if they win it again, they can take it back again. But we want them to come back every year if they're holding it, and give us a chance every year to try and beat them, because we'd like to reclaim the Canadian Naismith Cup that's supposed to be between the two Canadian teams in the NBA, because that's what its purpose was for originally. Yeah, so that's our subject today. Wow, Wednesday. Can the Raptorsfreaks help solve the mystery of the disappearance of the Naismith Cup? I don't know. We'll have to see. Is it as simple as this? It could be, honestly, because I don't know. You got to think about this. When the Raptors lost it, nobody cared. Nobody paid attention to the Raptors. Monique and I were one of the few Raptor fans that cared about the team correctly at that time, and we're not showing it disrespect. and we're just kind of in the bad place. And there was, I could see where the NBA and kind of the Raptors, because of Rob Babcock and Richard Petty, were just not that. They were just kind of okay, they won it. Where did it go? I could see that. I mean, there's Rob Babcock and Richard Petty are in the backstage after the last Naismith Cup, and they're like, "Wow, that was a crazy game. Yeah, I can't believe they actually beat us on our court. I know, Richard. I know. I can't believe they actually beat us on our court. I know, Richard. Shut up. Yeah. Hey, did you know where the cup went? I told them, not to take it because actually we need it for next year. I have no idea where it is, Richard. Ah, crap. I hope they didn't take it. Oh, wow. Well, maybe, you know what? It probably doesn't really matter. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm Rob Babcock. Seriously, was it like that? Is that how it went down afterwards? It's like, where did the cop go? Oh my gosh, did you let them take it? Is that a really good annoying voice? Because I'm trying to make Richard Petty annoying. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to make him really annoying. Did they take it? He's got to sound a little bit like Pat on Saturday Night Live. I hate Richard Petty so much. I really do. He's one of the worst people in Raptors history on the download. People don't know that. He is. He's one of the worst. Absolute worst. Oh, let's see. We got lots of chat in here now. Thank God. I was like, man, I ain't going to have no chat if YouTube keeps swiping my chat, wiping it out. And I know that Trevor J was here with words of wisdom already. I appreciate you, Trevor J. Commissioner at Fun, Trevor J. Yeah, I don't know. I got to get this audio thing figured out. And there's a couple issues going on right now. Some of it has to do with me switching browsers. I switched from Chrome to Brave, and there's little hidden issues in different ways from switching browsers all of a sudden. So I'm working through some more kinks technically in different places right now. Mark Tavares is in. First, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Mark, out in Calgary, holding it down for us in the Mountain Standard Time with the Sheriff Seymour Pape. Good to see you, Mark, back in the chat this morning. Ahmed is here also. Hello, Lex. I wanted to join earlier, and it said video unavailable. Yeah, audio was unavailable, video was unavailable, and live chat was unavailable. And we had to do a reboot on a bunch of things to get YouTube started up correctly. And that's why it took a little while for me to start my stream today, guys. I apologize for that. Well, we're running now. We're good at 10 o'clock now, so we're go. Let's go. Yeah, that was not a problem on your end. It was definitely a problem with the source, which was here. And we're trying to figure it out. You hope everyone's doing great. I hope you're doing great, too. I know that you said yesterday that you may not be able to investigate this for a little while because it's the off season. And also season's been suspended due to certain events that are going on right now in your region. And that's all very understandable. So, we'll want to make it when you can get there safely and when you're supposed to be there, as far as, there's a game going on and you can come down to the arena and watch the game and kind of do a little investigation. Yeah. I'll be waiting with bated breath to find out what Amit concludes from his poking around a little bit and just seeing if he can see the Naismith Cup somewhere. As I've asked Amit, that when he goes there, if he does see it, take a picture of it so we can see it. And, this would be crazy, man. Like, if we seriously figure this out, like we're Scooby-Doo gang or something like that, it's like, oh, they would have gotten away with it. It wasn't for those dang kids. Yeah, let's be those dang kids. And let's make a Scooby-Doo mystery out of this and, like, figure it out. Seriously, man. I think this is, like, kind of cool, honestly. Like in music, there's music mysteries, right? On Professor of Rock, who's a YouTube channel on YouTube, very popular. He did a mystery about music, and it was like a mystery song that somebody had a recording on a tape, but they didn't know the artist or the name of the song or anything. And it was really kind of a fun series on his channel because they did figure out what it was. And the whole journey of like going through the research and figuring out exactly what happened was fun to watch on the YouTube channel. So this may be ours, is the Naismith Cup. Where the hell is it? We're going to find it. That's right. And we want to compete for it again because Dr. James Naismith is an important person in the history of basketball. Obviously, he's an important Canadian. And the Naismith Cup is an important tradition in the first 10 years of the Raptors' existence. And we want it back. All right? We want it back. I don't care who has it. We're going to find it, and we're going to get down to the bottom of this. Who knows where this path that we're starting now will lead as we try to be sleuths and figure out the whereabouts of the Naismith Cup. Yeah, we're going to do this. Seriously, we're going to start where we're going to backtrack back and we're going to figure it out piece by piece. Watch, we're going to figure it out piece by piece. If anybody can help us, if you're watching right now and you know where it is, you tell us in the chat right now. Microphone check. Yeah, the mic's not even here, man, because the mic has been screwing up. So we're going on the computer's microphone because it's the mic. The mic has been doing stupid stuff. Like the computer's not reading the mic right. I get on and there's no audio. So it's like, how the hell am I going to talk if there's no audio? So check. Good to see you, Stargate. Morning to Amit. Good to see you again. Yeah, Amit, man, I'm really glad you're back this week. You know, we missed your youthful enthusiasm and your supreme knowledge. Let's just put it that way. There you go. Good morning, Raptor Freak family from Stargate. And I'm at St. Mark. Good to see you too. Awesome. I love the friendliness. Seymour is tapping in from the Mountain Standard Time. We got strong Alberta contingency in the chat right now. What pop, fam, happening from the Mountain Time region, Scarborough to Calgary and back. No stops in between. There you go. Man, you know, one day they'll have teleportation. And Seymour can get off work at the warehouse and be like, I'm going to go back and see the people back in the borough. And I'm going to go, and he's like back in Scarborough all of a sudden, just for like a couple hours. Like, hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm here. I'm coming to see the Scarborough Shooting Stars game, but I'm going to the Surge game later. So yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Teleportation, no stops whatsoever. That'll be the day, right, Seymour? Just as long as you don't get small like Mike TV on Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. That's right. Yeah, I'm getting teleported, Dad. You're the size of on TV, Mike. Oh, this is so cool. I always want to be on TV. No, it's not cool. You're too small. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm off the chain. I'm sorry. Mark is saying, morning, Lex. Another day, another trade. Indiana gets their pick from the Siakam trade back from the Pelicans for 23 in this draft. You know, these drafts that don't have a name in them, where they're just kind of pick swaps, to me, they're so unsexy. And in some ways, I don't even really kind of note them. I'm kind of like, okay, there was a trade of picks. And I'm like, okay, all right. But it's interesting. I mean, I guess you're right that Indiana gets their pick back from the Siakam trade in this deal. So that's kind of interesting. Stargate saying Amit can get to the bottom of this. I hope he can. Seriously. This is a serious thing, Stargate. I'm serious about this. I mean, I know that this is in some ways kind of silly and fun, but it is also kind of exciting, isn't it? Come on. We want to find the Naismith Cup, man. This has been a mystery for too long, 20 years too long. And we've got to find it, man. We got to do this as proud, positive Raptor Freaks and our love for our franchise. We got to find this thing, man. We are 6-time Naismith Cup winners. And we need this Naismith Cup to come back so we can win it some more. That's what I'm saying right now. And if Adam Silver is thinking about expanding to Montreal, well, we're going to need the Naismith Cup for those games when Montreal going to play Toronto. I'm just saying, man, this is just how it is. Yeah, Mark is saying, I'm at that mock draft last night. BS. I fell out. Yeah, there's a lot of dumb stuff going on out there. Listen, once again, guys, I don't want y'all to be a part of our Raptors Nation that is duped and stupid. And there's so many of them right now. They really are taught how to think about basketball by the U.S. media, and they shouldn't. They really, really shouldn't. Y'all do not be shaped by basketball media in the United States. Don't be shaped by hockey media in Canada. Seriously, stop disrespecting the Raptors. Stop letting them tell you our team isn't good enough right now. There's too much of a movement out there where there's Raptors fans who think that our team isn't good enough as it stands on paper right now. And they think we need people to come save us. And that's why we need the deals. And that, you know, it's all bullshit. You guys are listening to the wrong people. Stop listening to the idiots down south. Nobody in the United States understands the Toronto Raptors correctly, and this has been evidenced every single day by the garbage takes we hear coming from stateside. So Raptors fans, stop gaslighting yourselves because you believe Bleacher Report, ESPN, and all the other bullshit that's out there. These people do not want anything good for us. They want us to be destroyed and lose and be at the bottom. So why would you take advice from your enemy? Why would you take advice from people that do not want anything good for your favorite beloved sports team, the Toronto Raptors? Seriously, you should be taking advice from me because I want all the right things for that team that you want. So why the hell would you listen to somebody down south who does not pay attention to the Raptors and they admit it and they just got half-assed make up something when it is time to write about the Raptors? They don't do their research. They don't understand what this team is doing. They have no idea. They conveniently forget we got Brandon Ingram already. They're going to conveniently forget that Masai Ujiri is a genius. So stop listening to the U.S. media to get your opinions on the Raptors fans. You people that do that are idiots. I'm telling you right now, you're putting yourself down without even needing to. We are a very good franchise. We are in good shape right now. We do not have to make any moves this summer, and we will be fine next season. But the way that everybody talks at us and says this and says that, y'all would be been out of shape because Raptors didn't do anything. And then you get mad at Masai because he didn't do anything. He didn't have to do anything. Those people down south told you that he had to do something, but you shouldn't have believed them, is what I'm saying. And Josh Lewinberg tweeted yesterday on Blue Skies exactly right what Josh said yesterday. And I want to read this very clearly so Raptors fans can hear this right now, because this is a serious, serious thing. And if you can't understand what I'm saying, well, there's a problem here. Because honestly, Josh Lewinberg is spelling it out for everybody right here. So it's really deep in the chat. Let me get it here. All right. This is what Josh said yesterday on Blue Skies. The Raptors are the easiest team for other clubs to use as leverage. They have been for years. They've always, number one, they're always on the hunt for stars. And number two, they're famously tight-lipped. This is a very important part of things. This is why you shouldn't believe anything that's said about the Raptors, because they don't leak anything, y'all. That's why people that believe everything that's out there, they don't need to, because that's the thing. They're just filling in the blanks because the Raptors ain't talking. So we've been talking to the Raptors, and they're super interested. It's always plausible, but hard to verify. I tell you right now, 95% of the time, there's nothing there. It's all bullshit. He's saying that's not to say they aren't actually on insert name of star player, but makes it tough to distinguish what is real and versus what is just noise. And we're coming up on a time of the year where there's a lot of noise. So this is Lewinberg. This is Lewinberg at TSN. Straight up saying the Raptors are used as a pawn in trade talks all the time and have been for years. And y'all have fallen for it for years and years and years. And you just don't fucking get it in your head, Raptors Nation, that this is all noise built up to help people with leverage and deals and trades and things that people are trying to do, GMs, agents, and players doing all kinds of stuff. And when the Raptors name is in their mouths, sometimes it's just to throw it in there because it's being used as a weapon for what they want to get. And there's no real actual rumor that they just put our name in conversations for their own gain. And the Raptors ain't got even anything to do with it. Rich Paul may be saying, yeah, the Raptors are interested in my client. No, we're not. He's just saying that to help his client. I don't understand why Raptors fans can't understand this. Raptors Nation, get your head out of your ass. Stop listening to the media and start watching with your own damn eyes and see what Masai's doing with your own damn eyes. Judge it for yourself. And also just watch the game. Seriously, this summer is annoying because y'all won't stop talking about trades this, trades that. Y'all were bringing it up yesterday and we were saying, well, in some ways it's a dead part of the year. It's okay to extend, but I don't like it. I really don't. And other people here don't come to this channel for a constant trade talk also and just kind of speculating. Like yesterday, one of our members was saying, we're going to bring back Davion Mitchell next year. Why? Why would we do this? We already saw him. He was on our team. We could have kept him. If we really liked him so much, he would still be on the team right now. We traded him for a pick. We didn't even trade him. Like, we didn't have to trade him. We could have kept him, but we didn't. So the idea that we're going to circle back and get Davion is asinine and stupid. And honestly, you're not thinking through things very straight. Oh, they could do that because Jakob. No, Jakob was gone for 5 years and changed as a player drastically in the time since we traded him with DeMar for Kawhi and Danny Green. And then he came back later. This is not the same thing. This is half a year, not even. And we know who Davion is. He's the same person. And if they really valued him, they wouldn't have traded him in the first place. Come on, we can use critical thinking skills here and not be so, about things. That's what I'm saying right there. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you, MJ. Always good to see you. Stargate saying, Mark, I saw you and Amit repping the RFF in that Bleacher Report stream. The cluelessness of some of those folks in regards to the Raptors is crazy. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm talking about this subject right now, is because I heard you lamenting how bad the Bleacher Report draft was and what they were saying about us. And once again, I mean, they tell everything when, people say stuff like, oh, the Raptors championship is invalid because people were hurt and stuff like that. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. There's a lot of people in Golden State and Warriors Nation that do not like our championship because they think we just said. They think that because KD and Clay were out, that we didn't get a bona fide championship. In some ways, this is the same kind of energy and action that goes towards the Lakers in the Disney Bubble Championship, except the Disney Bubble Championship is more widely regarded as a false championship by a majority of NBA fans. Lakers fans, sure, you can go ahead and believe what you want to believe about that short season bullshit. But we all know, most of the people around the league know that was a Mickey Mouse championship won at Disney World. Now, the Raptors championship, there are segments of xenophobic Americans that do look down on it, other than the Warriors. But for the most part, the concentration of the people that look down on the Raptors championship is from Golden State Warriors Nation. So half the time, if you hear somebody saying something like, oh, the Raptors championship wasn't earned, they wouldn't have won it if our guys weren't hurt, that kind of stuff, that's what it is. And I would say this, I don't think the majority of the United States thinks that the Raptors championship is a fraud. I think that that's just there's a section of Warriors fans predominantly that carry that narrative. And otherwise, a lot of people see it from the outside, and they were glad we beat the Warriors. And they're like, yeah, no, the Raptors championship is a real one. In fact, they did it harder than anybody else because they're the only Canadian team, and they had a lot of obstacles, extra obstacles in front of them that other teams probably didn't have to get to where they're going. So there is a subsection of NBA Nation, and it's predominantly Warriors fans that do insult our championship and don't think it's legit. So you got to understand that. So in that thinking, when you're watching the Bleacher Report mock draft and you hear anybody saying any of that kind of rhetoric, they're just telling you exactly what that is. They're probably a Warriors fan, and they're pissed that we beat them and ended their dynasty. A lot of that's what that energy is. Oh, you guys didn't get a legit championship. But inside, they're hurting because we closed Oracle Arena with a loss for them. And we won a championship on their court and ended their dynasty. And that's sad to them. That's sad to them. So that's a lot of that energy right there. Let's see. Fierce is saying, Ahmed, we're rooting for you. That's right. Get us the cup. That's right. I don't know if you'll get it for us, but at least locate it for us. That's right. Mark Tavares is saying, what's up, Stargate, right? Well, that was a complete garbage. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to run an NBA website where you know a lot about the NBA, you better know all 30 teams. There's only 30 teams. And, when I was a youngster, I went and studied all 30 teams in the NBA. Well, there weren't 30 at that time. There were less. And I really knew each team equally. It wasn't like I ignored this team just because I felt I was above it. There's a lot of idiots like that right now. Like I've seen this take by this dumbass woman who's on sports somewhere saying that if the Pacers win the championship, it'll be horrible for the NBA because they're no superstar team. And what is that message about the superstar league the NBA is? This is some bitch who only watched basketball in the last 15 years who thinks that the team game and the way that the finals is played is boring and is not the right way to play because there's no big star like LeBron or some stupid shit like that. You are part of the reason why this sport sucks. And honestly, if you're a lately fan that believes like her, you're idiots right now. I'm going to say this right now. You're superstars in this league. It's just that they don't want to give it to Siakam and SGA. Well, that's their own damn fault. And listen, the whole 15 years that you're talking about that you think was so great was not. It was one of the worst periods of the NBA's history. And the superstar era is going to die. And whether you like it or not, and this lady being all upset about it, like, you know what? You are not a basketball person. You do not understand team ball. You do not understand what basketball is all about. And you're an idiot. And honestly, you shouldn't have a platform to talk about basketball because you just show how fucking stupid you are by what you said. Listen, if the Pacers win the championship, they earned it because they're a team that won in the end. And that's what it's all about. This is a team sport. It's not a superstar sport that's all about just LeBron. But I can imagine why you've been conditioned to think that way, lady who should not have any kind of speaking platform on any kind of social media or anywhere about opinions on basketball because you're an idiot. That's what I would say. Yeah. I mean, I don't get this, man. It's so dumb, man. It's so dumb. Ahmed saying, yeah, I can't stand Bleacher Report. Arguably the worst mock draft makers in the entirety of sports media. Yeah. Well, you got to figure out what mock drafts are. In some ways, it's not like what you're doing, Ahmed. You're doing it out of your heart and just seeing this is what I think could happen. Maybe you get a little overzealous by giving the Raptors the number one pick in the mock draft or making sure Common Malawatch falls to 9 for us. But listen, there's people that weaponize mock drafts. and especially ones that get widely seen by millions of people. And that's what ESPN, Bleacher Report, athletic mock drafts are. They weaponize the information to shape opinion and perspective about what should happen in the draft. And it's really very manipulative. And once again, Jalen Suggs is a huge, huge example of this with the Raptors and us picking Scotty Barnes instead. They were totally telling us the wrong information to try and get us to make a mistake. And that's why y'all don't know more than Bobby and Masai. That's why you need to let them do their jobs, because y'all would have had us picking Jalen Suggs instead of Scotty Barnes that year. And that was not the right decision. And you know it now from seeing what's happened since. So that's what I'm going to say. The weaponization of mock drafts by Bleacher Report and ESPN is you got to be aware of this, guys. We have to have critical thinking on all fronts when it comes to media information, especially on social media sites like Twitter and Facebook, which have no fact checkers anymore. In fact, I'm seeing crazy science posts on Facebook now that are absolutely untrue, but they're going to try and make them true in this new world of fabricated lies and perception. And yeah, it's crazy stuff. Like they found some sort of stuffed animal from like billions of years ago. No, they didn't have the materials to make a stuffed animal that looks like that. And I feel sorry for everybody who believes that that's a true story, because it's not. The stuffed animal flamingo, that's absolute horse crap. There's no way that happened. And well, they're going to see how much they can get away with lying to people and just putting bullshit out there and just seeing how much they hook, line, and sinker them. So critical thinking is absolutely necessary right now. And sadly, our society is going further and further away from developing that skill in each individual so that they can think for themselves clearly and think about what is real and what isn't. So critical thinking when you're looking at mock drafts, Raptors fans, understand the source, what their motives may be for why they're writing their article a certain way. Maybe they want to put a little small point guard on us like they historically always have in the mock draft. Oh, it's the Raptors in the mock draft? We'll just put the shortest point guard that's available in the draft. That's always what they've done. David Stoudemire, hello, Fred VanVleet. Well, let's just put the little tiny guy in there for their draft. And you'll be like, wait, but the Raptors don't need this position. Yeah, that's because they don't care. They don't care about what we want or need. They don't even go and investigate. They just throw somebody in that spot. It's honestly, sometimes they throw the person in our spot that is the most dubious and maybe highest bust factor, because they want us to have a public opinion in our fan nation that sees it. Oh, ESPN thinks we should take Noah Senge. Obviously, we should take Noah Senge if ESPN thinks that. Well, what if Noah Senge has one of the highest bust factors in the top 10 picks? That he's most likely to be one of the ones that busts. Oh, yeah, let's funnel him towards the Raptors. And their dumbass sheep fans will parrot everything we tell them because we don't like them. And we are working from the inside to falsely give them information. I don't understand why people can't understand this. They're not our friends, so don't listen to them. Seriously, they're not our friends. They really, really aren't. In fact, they're our enemies, and they are actively using their platforms to hurt us. And y'all fall for it. Y'all are dupes. The ones that think that they're the ones that are just so right and everything. Fuck ESPN. Fuck Bleacher Report. Do not listen to them. Seriously, they are not our friends. Go watch Game of Zones. You can see how much they respect and like the Raptors and the way they treated the Game of Zones Raptors. And then notice that they never made an episode once the Raptors won a championship, because they didn't want to write the storyline where we were successful and won the cup. Yeah, that's how much haters Bleacher Report is, along with ESPN. So just understand this, people. Understand this. Seymour saying, thank you, Florida, for making half of Alberta happy. Oh, yeah, big ups. The 22 Canadians on the Panthers. Yeah, I guess this is what happened last night. Trevor had this to comment in on the other one, is that the Panthers did win the Stanley Cup last night for the second year in a row, beating Edmonton. Sadly, the Stanley Cup finals are over, and the Cup's not coming back to Canada. And it sucks, man. It sucks. I mean, Seymour's happy. Yeah, you and your Flames fans are happy, but most of Canada is not. And I'm just pissed. I mean, whatever. Panthers are a tough team, I guess. They're a really, really good team, and it's too bad. It's really, really too bad. Onward and forward. Not a big NHL fan, so in some ways I'll make the note of it. But yeah, let's move on. Stargate saying, what's more crazy is they are so clueless, yet act and talk like they know, and have people listening to them that believe they have some knowledge of our team, and they have none. No, a really good rule of thumb for anybody who follows the Raptors If the source comes from the United States, do not believe jack shit, because none of them are coming across the border and seeing them in practice like our reporters here. None of them are covering us in the way that they want us to cover us. None of them are covering us with respect. Let's just put it that way. There's really, really a lack of respect for us. I mean, what did Channing Frye said in the chat the other day that they did during the game with Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry? And it was so disrespectful. And I have a huge two-finger salute for Channing Frye right now. And it's kind of like the Jeff Teague xenophobia against Canadians and not wanting Canadians to take over the league, his bullshit tirade. Well, Channing Frye said this to our Groat in the chat the other day. Kyle Lowry said, I'm the greatest Raptor of all time in the chat, reminding Channing Frye. And Channing Frye turned around and said, being the greatest Toronto Raptor of all time is like having the best art in second grade. See, that's the kind of shit. That's the kind of disrespect and attitude that some of the American players, and, Channing Frye was on some of those Cleveland teams that beat us with LeBron, but he's a fuckface. And what did he ever do in his career that was worthwhile, honestly, as an individual? He was on some teams that did very well, where he was just a bit player, a role player. But fuck you, Channing Frye, for disrespecting the Raptors, especially to the Groat's face. Honestly, if I was Kyle Lowry, I'd tell that dude to fuck off and never talk to him again, because that's disrespectful to our city, our franchise, and to Kyle's face. Seriously, you didn't tell Kyle Lowry being the greatest Raptor of all time is an accomplishment like having the best art in the second grade? Like, seriously, that's the mentality of the people that are writing articles about the Raptors, just so people know. Seriously, they show themselves in other places just how much they disrespect us and stuff like that. So why the hell would you listen to them about what we should do for our draft or any trades, Raptors Nation? Seriously, why would you listen to these people? Seriously, Smooth saying that was also the Anthony Parker game. He went off on the Raptors. Anthony Parker was playing for Tel Aviv in that game, and he was going to become a Raptor in the future along with us. In fact, that was the whole pattern. It was like, guys torch us, and, well, we go get them later. And, well, Anthony Parker, I remember this now. You're right. Anthony Parker killed us on Tel Aviv and helped to win the Naismith Cup. And then we signed him, and he came over to our team and played with our team for a few years. And he's a very, he's a Raptors alumni we don't talk about enough, honestly. If I really think about him, we don't talk about him enough. J.O.'s here. Good to see J.O. back in the chat. It's been a little bit, J.O. I remember you, man, from a while back. Are you guys getting Kevin Durant? I saw a draft proposal trade, RJ quickly, Jakob in 25th. Yeah, no, we're not doing this. That's ridiculous. J.O., and just think about what I just went off about. If that's coming from the States, that's absolute horse crap. Yeah, no, it's very obvious who Kevin wants to go to, and it's the Spurs. And he's made the short list. That's the rumor you should listen to. Kevin Durant says his 3 teams he wants to go to are San Antonio, Houston, and Miami. And Toronto is not really involved in this. If the Raptors are involved in any kind of Kevin Durant trade, they're the 3rd team. They are not getting Durant, and they're acting as opportunists to help facilitate the trade to just move a couple of minor assets. But first of all, Durant's not coming to Toronto. We're not trading any of those guys that are on that list. The only way we're involved in the Durant trade is we're a 3rd team that's just helping to facilitate it, and it's a very minor part of the trade. That's it. So yeah, J.O., see, this is an example of it. This is a fan from another nation coming in here saying, hey, y'all going to do this? And we're like, no, we're not, because this is bullshit. And this is honestly, it's just as, what, we were more likely to trade Scotty for Kevin when he was on New Jersey or Brooklyn than this summer. There's no reason for the Raptors to make a deal right now, because we're in a good place coming in the season with Brandon Ingram coming in healthy. That's our free agency right there. We're basically adding Brandon Ingram to our team without using them at all. And that's a huge upgrade. That's a huge add. And everybody's overlooking that right now and thinking, oh, the Raptors need to do something. No, we don't. No, we don't. In fact, we have a guy who's very much like Kevin Durant on our team already, who's younger and maybe actually able to play more like Kevin Durant of the past than Kevin Durant can at this point. So that's what I would say, J.O. Welcome back. Good to see you. James is saying the 9th pick, we have a lot of options, lots of good prospects. I hope we don't trade the pick. Noah Senge, Fleming, and Carter. You know what? I've changed my opinion. I'm not going to do the stream on Carter Bryant tomorrow. No, I want to do it on Joan, because you know what, James, that list is great, but I don't like it, because none of those guys are what I want. Those guys are all forwards. and I want a center. And I'm sick of this. I mean, seriously, Carter Bryant is a great athlete. He's a forward, but he is not what I want. And Rasheer Fleming, same thing. He's not a true center. I don't want to draft him. And Noah Senge, same thing. If we're going to go French, I want to go Jean Berenguer. Seriously, because I looked at him some more, and the fact that he may be the best shot blocker in this draft, the fact that he is a project, but he could really fill out and do certain things. Forget about those guys. Tomorrow, Thursday Think Tank, Jean Berenguer. We're going to look at him directly tomorrow because we're getting off task. We're getting off topic. We need a center. And I'm sick of us kind of, if we can't get the center, we can't get Mulawach, let's get a power forward instead. I'm like, no. Let's go for a true five. And they're there. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, picking Joan at 9 is not a reach. And we may need to very seriously consider him as the third option after Common and Asa. That's my 3 right now, I think. At this point, I'm changing it to Common Mulawach, Asa Newell, and then Jean Berenguer for my top 3 picks for 9. That's the 3 best picks I think we can get right there. Right there. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying it. Trevor J not here. So my words of wisdom for y'all is to stay kind and focus on positivity. It will do your body and mind good. There you go. Fiercely is doing the words of wisdom. He did have words of wisdom on the original chat, but it got all screwed up once again because of the microphone. And he wrote a bunch of comments and I guess he's frustrated because I had to restart it and it wipes them. And I can't see them to pick them up on the other side. So unfortunately, that's one of the risks of doing the early comments is that I have to wipe them because of technical difficulties. I try not to let that happen, but 2 days in a row, this has happened. But see, I'm sure that Trevor's around, Fiercey. I'm sure he's around. Ahmed's saying, if Maccabi Tel Aviv beats us again, we will be the laughing stock of the entire league. I'd rather Maccabi just keep it if we lose again. I don't see that happening. We've got to understand the Raptors were in a really, really bad place. What did they do? They traded Vince Carter for Aaron Williams, Eric Williams, Alonzo Mourning, and Alonzo Mourning didn't come. And there was a talent void on the Raptors, and they were maybe at one of the lowest points in their whole entire franchise history. They caught us at a very bad place, and they still only beat us by 2. So yeah, I don't think that it's very likely that they'd ever beat us again. But maybe because it was the first time an international team came and beat an NBA team on their own home court, even though it was preseason. It was embarrassing. And they were like, you know what? The Raptors just lost an international team. Well, you might as well just let them keep the cup because, you guys beat us. And, the NBA had not lost an international team on their home court until then, which is annoying. But that's why I'm saying we need to make up for it and get a chance to play them again. If they beat us again, I don't think that's very likely. With the team we've got right now. Think about that, Ahmed. Think about the team that's there in Tel Aviv right now, and think about the team that the Raptors have right now. Do you think they're beating them? Be really honest with yourself. Seriously. Trevor's saying, no matter how hard your life. Okay, here's Trevor. No matter how hard your life may seem, there are millions of other people. Who have it 10 times worse than you. So thank God for all the blessings, big and small. Yes, and yes. The right attitude is gratitude. It will get you through everything. I've had a kind of difficult morning already. Have y'all ever done this? Have y'all ever dropped a roll of toilet paper, a brand new one, into the toilet before you even got to use it? Yeah. In some ways, the toilet roll was kind of in a weird place. My bathroom's a little small, and it fell into the toilet. And I'm like, man, I can't use this toilet paper now. It's all wet and gross. In fact, it fell in the toilet that was used, so it was even worse. So yeah, really gross. So it's like one of those kind of days. You drop a full roll of toilet paper in the toilet by accident, and your microphone won't work for your live stream. Well, it's maybe a little bit one of those days. So I'm going to have gratitude and say, you know what? These are not huge problems. I have a great life, even if things aren't going exactly smooth. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how you got to look at it, Trevor. Thank you for your words of wisdom, and I'm glad you made it in the chat. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Smooth saying at JO, that's just engagement. That trade proposal is not true, in my opinion. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That's the thing. That's the other thing we got to understand. Like, JO, think about that trade. You think Masai Ujiri is a dumb man? You think Masai Ujiri is a dumb person? Because I'm going to start just saying this. People that think these trade rumors are real and think that they're true, I want you to ask yourself, do you think Masai's stupid? Because that's what you're doing. You're making him sound stupid you think that this is something he would actually do. Seriously, Masai Ujiri's never done something stupid like this. Trade half our starting lineup for one old aged star who's the Slim Reaper who actually kills championship chances for teams when he goes to them now. Are we dumb? No, we're not. We don't have anything to do with Kevin Durant right now. This is all bullshit. And once again, I'll say the Raptors are used as a pawn in leverage and talks in the media and rumors because, like Josh Lindbergh said, we're tight-lipped. They can't go and verify it because even if they came and asked if it was true, we wouldn't tell them because we're like that with how we run things. We don't let out stuff. So in the same token, because we don't let out stuff, you shouldn't believe any damn rumor that comes out about the Raptors because we ain't talking to nobody. So, I mean, come on, let's logically, critically think this through and understand that other teams are filling in the coloring book for the Raptors because we don't fit color, because we don't want to show anybody what we're doing. But they'll fill in colors in our coloring book and say that's the colors of what they're doing. And we'll be like, no, you colored that into our book. And we didn't do that. That's you impressing and putting this on other people and showing that you think that this is what we're doing. No, that's not what we're doing. First of all, question, is this smart? Does this make any sense? Does this help the Raptors? No, then it's not true. And Masai Ujiri is a smart genius in the NBA world. Why the fuck would you think he's stupid enough to do that deal is what I would ask J.O. Seriously, think critically in this world. We got to think everything critically. AI's here. Fuckface Trump is in charge. And everything is turned upside down. So every single thing you hear in this world today, you really need to think critically about. And if you're just going to casually take anything that comes in the rumor mill and say, oh, that must be true, you're not thinking critically, is what I'm saying. That's what you got to do right there. That's what you got to do. Fiercely saying WNBA games were litty yesterday. My fantasy lineup killed it. Also, 3 ejections in the Indiana versus Connecticut game. Las Vegas had 21 turnovers and lost 2 games in a row. Wow, the Aces have fallen. I'm actually shocked at how bad Jewel Lloyd is doing in Las Vegas. What a horrible career move to go to the Aces from the Storm. She was so good on the Storm, and her numbers are half of what they were in Seattle on Las Vegas, and it's not adding up to winning either. The Aces are probably the worst they've been in their franchise history right now. That is crazy to me. I wouldn't have called that. I would have thought they would shore up things better with Jewel Lloyd running around with Aja Wilson, but no, they are worse now. And in some ways, the chemistry between people like Plum and other aces that left was better than what they are right now. That's really crazy. I heard there was a lot of chippiness in the Indiana Fever game yesterday. Caitlin Clark, the epicenter of it all. Well, she's just, you know what? In some ways, she's been directed by the WNBA to be the star. And in some ways, she needs to do things to get attention. And maybe some of it is controversial in a Dennis Rodman kind of way. That'll get some attention. In some ways, maybe there's a little bit of a motivation to show that women play basketball just as tough and gritty. And let's break the stereotypes and allow gender equity as far as how women players can behave and act. Some people get mad at the women for acting too tough and physical in certain ways that are not totally feminine. But you know what? They want gender equity. And they want to be looked at the same as the NBA. And if they want to get chippy, they want to have a little bit of a fracas. They want to have a little bit of get in your face. Equal rights. And that's what this is right here. In some ways, Caitlin Clark is training the sports world to allow for gender equity in how they perceive the WNBA. And I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, let's go look at the WNBA fantasy stuff real quick. Did I put that tab up? I didn't. Uh-oh. Let me go look because we had a lot of games last night. So let's see who's the early leaders on this week of WNBA Fantasy in the Raptor Freak channel. Right now we've got I have a lead over Cass. It's not a very big lead, only about a 25-point lead over Cass right now. Fiercey did kill it. She's got a huge lead over James right now. MK is beating Edmund. Logical Raptors fanatics winning against Kareem, and Cool Cat is leading her matchup right now also. Yeah, it was an interesting day. There is one game tonight in the WNBA. It's the Phoenix Mercury at the Connecticut Sun. Isaac Barnett is the crew chief. Randy Richardson is the referee, and Gerda Gatling is the umpire. So yeah, WNBA check-in is always fun, and yeah, lots of good excitement and action last night. And set your lineups. Don't miss out on getting your points for your fantasy. That's right. Seymour saying, please, no craft dinner. I don't want KD. Yeah, people say the Canadians like KD. Yeah, the stuff that you put in a pot with a stick of butter and a cheese packet. That's what we like. We don't want no KD that's tweeting at 3 a.m. With the fans saying how idiots they are. No, we don't want that kind of KD served here. No, 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 no. We'll eat some KD craft dinner, but we do not want that KD that comes with a a kind of weird aura right now. I'm just saying Kevin's aura is weird, man. It's really weird, man. Yeah, let Tel Aviv keep it. They want it. They deserve it 100%. No, no, because this thing was intended to be a championship between two Canadian teams. And maybe that's why they thought of it that way. They're like, oh, well, they beat us. Let them take it. Because, the Greek team, we beat them the year before and it stayed here. But I think that it's time to revive it. And seriously, we need to find out where it is. If we can't find it, well, maybe they make a new one and say the old one is just not in circulation. We cannot locate it. But we do want to revive the Naismith Cup and do it again. I think that they need to do this. Seriously. I'd like to get the original one back and use the original one. But if we can't, I think we need to make a new one, especially if there's going to be a Montreal NBA team. Especially, yeah. Amit saying we lost to Anthony Parker and Omari Kasipi. Do we really deserve it? That's that old team, and that's that moment in time. Once again, that is a moment in time, in a very bad moment, and one of the lowest moments in the Raptors' history. We were kicked down by the Vince Carter trade in a very bad place, and a lot of people weren't paying attention, obviously, that this happened and where it went. Seriously, it's 20 years, y'all. They don't get to hold that cup for 20 years. Seriously, we should get it back and get a chance to compete for it. I don't understand why people haven't tried to do this. Maybe we'll find out as we try and unravel this mystery. Why the hell was the Naismith Cup just given up on and forgotten about and let to go into the ether away from anyone knowing it is? Why? Why did that happen? In some ways, we want answers. That's right. That's what we're going to try and do. Listen, I want that Naismith Cup because honestly, this is not a cup for the international world. It really wasn't supposed to be that. The Naismith Cup was supposed to be a cup between Vancouver Grizzlies and Toronto Raptors for perpetuity. But they lost their team in Vancouver and they had to change the rules. And that's why they started playing international teams instead. But honestly, if there is another Canadian team coming to the NBA, we need to revive it. We need to revive it. And you know what? If MLSE's listening to me right now and the subject I'm talking about right now, I hope the wheels are turning as far as different kind of ideas that Masai and Bobby and the rest of the franchise can figure out in this subject that I'm talking about today. Seriously, 30th anniversary of the Raptors this year. And 20 of those years, the Raptors did not have their Naismith Cup around. Yeah, because it was absconded. That's right. It is gone. I don't know where it is. Listen, Anthony Parker was a very good player, obviously, because both those guys went on from that team to the NBA and played. Caspi went to the Kings, right? And he played for the Kings after this. And Parker had a very long NBA career after this game. So let's not get it twisted. That may be that Tel Aviv was on a high and the Raptors were very much at one of their lowest of lows. And they still only managed to beat them by 2 guys. Seriously. I mean, can we get the box score for this? Let's go look at it. We can go and analyze exactly what the hell happened as far as why this happened this way. Let's see. I'll go look at it real quick. We'll go I guess what I gotta find the date. This is a little browsing music as I type and try and find this. Okay. Where's the box score though? All right, who was playing for the Raptors? So that we got to blame these guys. All right, Anthony Parker did win the game for them by hitting the last second shot. He hit a shot with 0.8 seconds when they were tied to win the game, right at the end of the game. So Anthony Parker is to blame for this at 105 to 103. So he hit a shot with less than a second to go to win the game right at the end. Right at the end. Let's see. Vucevic played for Nikola Vucevic played for Maccabi, I think, in this game, guys. So that says something right there, right? Vucevic. I don't know if it's the same one. Nikola Vucevic. Chris Bosh had 27 points, 12 rebounds in 45 minutes, and Jalen Rose had 18 points in 41 minutes. They played this game like it was their championship game, and rightfully so. Those guys are hungry for NBA jobs. is what Jalen Rose said after being a loser in this. Yeah, Jalen Rose, you're such a tarnishment on the Raptors history. There for that Kobe 81 and also this really horrible game right here, man. Jalen Rose, you just don't take things serious enough, man. Seriously. Let's see. It was only the second time an NBA team had lost to an international team. The Atlanta Hawks had lost to the Soviet national team in 1988, but that wasn't on an NBA court. Sam Mitchell was quoted after the loss saying to lose is unacceptable. To lose to a team like that would be disrespecting them. I would look like an idiot to stand up here and disrespect the team that just beat you. You have to respect what they've done. You've got to respect their effort. So, yeah, this is crazy. Morris Peterson played in this game also, guys. But, yeah, I don't have the box score, but I have kind of the rundown. So, Anthony Parker hit a game-winning shot in the last second to put them up by 2. So, they just barely won. And they came at us with, like, energy like they were playing all out. And we were an NBA team that just came back from training camp, and we're just revving up our season. And we had maybe played 2 or 3 preseason games at this point. So it's like, come on, guys. Seriously, can we see where Tel Aviv would have came up and beat us in this situation where we were in our franchise and what was going on? Who knows? They were maybe, I don't know when their season is. They've been revved up and playing at a high level because they were coming right out of their season there and coming over and playing an exhibition against us in the Naismith Cup over here. Meanwhile, our team had just came back from summer and they had barely been back together and they were still reeling from the loss of Vince Carter. Seriously, guys. Seriously. Let's see. Trevor's saying last night, the games with the Indiana, and you say Indian on there. I'm like, why do you put that? And Sun get very physical, 6 ejections. Caitlin says she can do what the fuck she wants. She can. She's the face of the league. And in some ways, she's got rights like LeBron James in that league right now. She really does. She really, really does. Yes, she does. Let's see. All right. I lost my place. I'll make sure I get back to the right spot. Okay, here we go. There I am. Seymour saying, been down since 95. Not too many can say that. Yeah. Lex's imitation of Richard Petty, pretty good. Yeah, I hate that guy so much. I really do. Richard Petty, you showing your face on Raptors Delight this past season. Shame on you. You should have just like stayed in the woodwork. And you came out all egotistical and trying to talk about the history from your point of view. All you came off as Richard Petty is an egoist who was anti-basketball people running the Raptors. And you, as a businessman who was more doting on the Leafs, fuck you, Richard Petty. Isaiah Thomas was a better leader in that team and running our team than you ever were. And you disrespecting Isaiah Thomas, fuck you, Richard Petty. You do not know basketball, and you totally showed it by hiring Rob Babcock and allowing what happened to the Raptors in the mid-2000s. So fuck you, Richard Petty, one of the worst people ever associated with the Toronto Raptors in the history of our team. That's right. There you go. There you go. UC's here. Good morning. I can't believe a Canadian is about to be the finals MVP soon. Forget about finals MVP. He's already the league MVP. And, you know, if you're weighing the two awards, I always think that the league MVP for the season is more important than the finals MVP. Seriously. Because you can think about this. You know, the league MVP is the best player in the league, honestly. And some will argue about Jokic and stuff like that. I get it. But the finals MVP can end up being somebody who just had a hot kind of 4 or 5 games. Like Andre Iguodala is a finals MVP. So to me, the weight of the season MVP is much greater and bigger than the finals MVP. But this is true, UC, and this will be awesome when we see it. Amit's saying, letting y'all know, Maccabi Tel Aviv won't let us just get the trophy back for nothing. Either we'd have to give them a couple $1 million or we'd have to beat them. And that's what I'm saying. I want to do it the right way. I want to play them and beat them. And I think we will. I think we will. Who are the NBA players on that team right now? Is Patrick Beverley playing for them? That's what I heard, right? Isn't Patrick Beverley playing for them? I think he played for them last year. That could be convenient. Maybe we could mark 2 things off the list. Get the Naismith Cup back and humiliate little yappy puppy Patrick Beverley. Because he's playing over there, right? Is he playing for Maccabi? I think he might be. Seriously. I want to do this right. I'm not trying to say we just take it back. I'm saying we got to play them to earn it back. And we will. Honestly, if we play them, we'll kick their ass. In fact, we'll need to tell Scotty and them, what's up? Yeah, these guys beat us on a last-second shot and took this cup for 20 years. And it's honestly, it's the cup for the Canadian teams to compete in the NBA. It's not an international cup. And in some ways, we want you to get it back. This is your mission, Scotty Wayne. Can you and RJ do this? You need to do this, RJ. for our country, for Canadian heritage. Get the Naismith Cup back. We need it back. So you got to beat them. I mean, there's a real easy speech for Darko in this, guys. Real easy speech. And this may be a really extra preseason game. Seriously, Adam Silver, you need to look into this and get this done. Now, if you're in some ways like, oh, no, we don't want to take a trophy away from Israel or something like that, it's because of some sort of weird thing or something. Shame on you, Adam Silver, for robbing the NBA of its culture and specifically the Toronto Raptors and Canadians of their culture with the Naismith Cup. Shame on you, Adam Silver. You should get that cup back for us to compete and put it back in circulation. Seriously. Smooth saying, hey, it was the game that got Anthony Parker a contract with the Raptors. Well, that was the one good thing about it, but in some ways, was that worth it? I don't know. Anthony was an interesting player, and he was solid for us for a few years. He really was. G saying the WNBA is wild. So fun right now. This is great. This is what we want to hear, man. This is what I want to hear. That's right. Aditya, good morning to you. We're here on the channel every morning at 9:30 a.m. talking Toronto Raptors and Canadian basketball, Toronto Tempo, CBL, and Raptors 905 even. All I remember from that preseason was Corey Homicide Williams. That nickname would not fly today. I don't even remember that nickname. There was a guy named Homicide. This sounds like this is like an N1 nickname, like Escalade or the Professor. It's Corey Homicide Williams. He's come out and he's going to do like dunks with the N1 tour or something like that. I don't think the NBA ever sanctioned that nickname. No, I don't. Maybe this is what Ja Morant may need to look into. Ja Homicide Morant. All right, we don't want to revive that. That's crazy. Aditya, thank you for the comment there. That's a very interesting one. I'm going to say my grandfather had season tickets for the first 15 years. I'm going to ask him if he was at the game against Maccabi Tel Aviv later today. I'm invested in learning about the Naismith Cup. This is important because in some ways you're our lead investigator, Amit. You're our lead investigator. And in some ways, you need to be knowledgeable on the subject, what the cup looks like, what it smells like, what it tastes like, what it hears like. That's right. You need to know everything about it so that you can help us in this investigation. And once again, we're not doing this in a punitive way or an angry way or an upset way. We're doing this just for the truth, for the facts, to find out. And, did your grandfather go to the game here in Toronto? Because that's where they won it. They came here to Air Canada Center and beat the Raptors on our own home court to take it at the last second on Anthony Parker's shot. That's right. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak crew from Trucker Cast. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday so far. Seymour saying, honey, I shrunk the kids type shit with the teleport. That's right. That's what I want to see, man. I don't want to see you shrunk. But, I mean, if they get that technology right, and you can just say, beam me up, Scotty, and boom, all of a sudden you're back over, in your spot over in Scarborough, bro. You'd be like, yeah, hey, everybody, maybe you catch a pickup game over there real quick and say, yeah, I'm just back for a second. And then, boom, you're back in Calgary afterwards just in time for work. That's what I'm saying. When are we going to get to this? Forget about AI. Forget about all this other technology. Can we start doing cool stuff like Star Trek would be doing finally? Geez, come on now. That's right. Kaz is saying, great first night in WNBA Fantasy last night, Lex. Yes, we're a very competitive matchup. It's going to be very close. I have a feeling because you're being very attentive to your team. It's just like a garden. You got to water the plants so they can grow. And, well, I can tell Kaz out of some of the managers that are in the Fantasy WNBA League is taking it very seriously. And I got to be very careful this week. I got to be very careful. That's right. Milbester is here. Our Knicks freak is here. Lex, the streak continues. That's right. I know. I hate this, man. I hate this. 32 years since the Canadians have won the Stanley Cup. I hate it so much. Stanley Cup drought for 32 years in a row. Alexander Barkow will be the greatest Florida Panther of all time. Should have been Stars versus Panthers for the Cup. Boo, 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 boo. Milbester, you want a strike? You can get a strike for your anti-Canadian sentiments here. First of all, they're in the same division. So how the hell are they going to play? Well, actually, I guess it would have been Stars. No, Edmonton beat the Stars properly. Man, screw this, Milbester. You're not stepping on the right foot in here. Come on now. Reggie saying trading the 2025 pick for the 2026 pick allows Indiana to resign Miles Turner going into the luxury tax for the time in their first time in their history. It creates room for them. So, yeah, this trade that they made with the pick swap helps them retain Miles Turner. Okay, that's good information. That all makes complete sense right there. I'm using critical thinking. Does this make sense? Yes, Miles Turner is a free agent in the offseason, so that fact check's true. Do they want to keep him? Yes. Would they do a move like this to try and keep him? Yes. Critical thinking, thinking it through. Does this make sense? Or does this not make any sense at all? Well, it's probably not true. Yeah. Milbester saying also the Paul George trade by the Thunder, the Clippers allowed OKC to get all those first round picks to get SGA and Jalen Williams. Clippers still were a playoff team, even losing all those picks. Yeah, I don't even know why you're bringing that up. In some ways, okay, yeah, this is all stuff we knew. And yeah, okay, thank you. Seymour saying they better keep him because the mainstream teams are trying to pull him already, and the season ain't even over. I seen Lakers Bulls want Turner, boring mainstream media. Well, this is what I'm going to say right now. Miles Turner, once again, let's look at this. Of course, he's in the moment. Of course, in some ways, this is what they don't like. They don't like that the Indiana Pacers rose to the top as the cream of the crop. In some ways, they don't like that. And in some ways, just like the Raptors, they're going to try and dismantle the Pacers with subterfuge and media bullshit and takes. And I'm going to say this right now. If you're critically thinking about all this, think about Miles Turner. Think about his career. He's been only a Pacer his whole entire career. That man has been in trade bait for years and years and years, and he never got traded. Now, all of a sudden, people are going to try and come and get him like this. Maybe there will be a demand. Maybe there will be some asking prices from around. Maybe he will get offered more money from somebody else. Or maybe Miles Turner will stay loyal to the team he's always played for, because why the hell would he want to leave the team once they got to the finals finally after so many years of toiling on that team? He's going to leave and go somewhere else where nothing is guaranteed and could be a shit show. Yeah, this don't make no sense. Critical thinking. Let's think this through. Miles Turner ain't going nowhere. If they pay him the right amount, he's loyal to them. They've been loyal to him. He's going to stay right where he is. So this don't make no sense. Once again, we can hear all the noise, maybe Lakers fans lusting and saying stupid ass shit that they're going to get Miles Turner, but I will not believe it until I see it. And I'll say this right now. If they're making moves right now with a trade like they did yesterday to make room for Miles, they're going to keep Miles. Because honestly, Miles has been loyal to them. They've been loyal to him, even though they put him in trade talks. They never did trade him. And why the hell would a man who spent 10 years on a team, toiling and getting nowhere, finally get somewhere and then leave? Let's just think about this clearly in our heads. Hello, spin the hamster in your head. And okay, yeah. What Lex is saying checks a little bit better than delusional Laker fan who just thinks that they can acquire whoever they want in the league willy-nilly at any moment that they think they can. I mean, that's what I would say to this right there. Indiana's making the moves to keep him, and he's probably going to stay, like, because of what I just said. Seriously, it's so crazy. It's stupid, man. It's so stupid. Let's see. Smooth saying per Shams, Miles Turner will be resigning with the Indiana Pacers. See, and that is a valid source for the most part. Listen, this is the thing. Shams can be a trade rumor. You can tell what's between a trade rumor and fact. If he says something like this is a fact. He said Miles Turner will be resigning with the Pacers. That's not, you got to look at the verbiage, the wording. This is will be. So everything right there makes sense. And this is a valid source. This is somebody who's trusted, who's usually correct. Now, if he's saying something like the Raptors are reported to be in trade talks for Kevin Durant, that is not a real thing. That is just bullshit. So look at the words and what people are saying and suss it out with critical thinking, whether it's something to be taken seriously or not. And well, Shams saying will be resigning with Indiana. That is pretty serious, and that makes sense to me. It checks out critical thinking wise. The source is good, and the verbiage is about on point right there. That's right. That was reported a week ago. And Lakers fans are going to still come out there and muddle shit and say stuff like, oh, he's coming to us. He's coming to us. Okay, yeah. You think everybody's coming to you, but nobody wants to come to y'all, actually, on the down low. Seriously, that's the damn truth. That's right. Seymour saying happy hump day. Get your hump on. Okay, the humpy dance is your chance. Do the hump. Oh, do me, baby. Do the hump, the hump. Do the hump, the hump. Oh, sexy mama. Yo, stop. What? All right, stop. Stop. You're not in Burger King bathroom. All right, stop now. All right, Trevor's saying Halliburton likely a game time decision. Calf. Meh. Calf. Ugh. Yeah, I feel bad for this guy, man. You better get some sort of crazy new age treatment. You better go in some cryogenic chamber for 36 hours. You got to do something, man. You got to do something. You get those pins put in you, acupuncture. You got to do something, man. You got to do a body flush. You maybe need to sleep for 20 hours, Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know what you need to do. But you better be doing it. The clock was started as soon as that last game ended. The clock started for you to recoup and get back and get right. Because seriously, he said publicly, there's nothing that will stop me from playing in this game. If he doesn't play in this game, well, he's a liar. So we'll have to see. He needs to play in this game because honestly, I'm sorry, man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You better come and show up because if you don't, it's going to be your legacy, Tyrese. You don't want this legacy. Trust me. You do not want this legacy. So he better show up. Seriously. He better show up and play the game of his fucking life because he's messing with his whole entire reputation for the rest of his life right now. This is your moment, Tyrese. Don't drop the ball. Don't fuck up. You better show up and you better play very well. If you don't, man, you're going to have a label, bro. You're going to have a label if you don't. Stargate saying, yes, Lex is annoying. I understand every being titled in their opinion. However, I'm starting to see that Zazu Spaces is mentally creeping the RFF, and it's a little disheartening. What's saying? Yes, Lex, it's annoying. It's annoying. I'm annoying. I am. I know. I understand everyone being entitled to their opinion. However, I'm starting to see Zazu Spaces mentality creeping in the RFF, and it's a little disheartening. You know what it is. In some ways, people want to just question what's possible and kind of be daydreaming or kind of think about this stuff. Just stop, y'all. Seriously, when I do this channel, I'm not daydreaming on stuff most of the time. I'm not thinking about what could be. I'm only thinking about what is. I mean, seriously, that's the difference between the way I make content on this channel and Raptors Digest. Is I'm not trying to make up what I want to see or trying to think about what could be. I'm thinking about what is, and I'm going with that. I know that we have the 9th pick. I know that we have the 39th pick. We don't have a pick swap. We don't have any trade or anything yet. If they trade in a moment's notice, then I'll pivot then with Bobby and Masai. When they say, okay, they've traded the 9th pick for this, then I'll be, okay, this is where we're at for reality now. There's so much over speculation, so much wasted brain power and thinking about what could be. This person comes here. This person comes. Stop. Let's just watch our team do what it does in the front office, and we're going to be badasses, and we're going to enjoy things. The only thing we need to do is buy tickets, go down to the arena, and support the team. Watch the team on TV. Buy the merchandise. Be a fan. Show support for the team unconditionally, whether they win or lose, because that's what fans do. And people that have conditions about whether they're going to root for the fans, they're not fans. They're taskmasters and idiots and people that are not real ones. So, I mean, I'm just saying our role is a fan, and our role is to watch the games and cheer for the team. It's not anything else. And too many other people want to put other job titles on themselves. I'm the GM. I'm an advisor to the front office. I'm a expert on basketball because I coach. All this bullshit. Just stop. Let it be what it is, and let's just watch how it all happens. And we'll react to what happens instead of trying to paint what's going to happen in the future. That's the problem right here. It's too many prognosticators. And some of them are not prognosticating with educated backgrounds and knowing what the fuck they're talking about. Stargate saying, I come here to get away from that type of nonsense. And I see it's reared its ugly head over here too. It's not good. I really do think it's just this time of year, Stargate. Some people are just bored because it's the summer and there's not as much going on and they want to fill their heads with basketball thoughts. I think that's what it is. It's just this time of year, and it is intensified right now. In some ways, when the draft happens next week, some of this will go away. In some ways, there will be more trade talk, maybe free agency talk for the rest of the summer. But as things happen and things calm down, more people will stop this kind of noise. In some ways, we can't stop the noise. It's just a part of the atmosphere and the environment now. And in some ways, we just need to recognize it for what it is. And if you're a smart fan, you ignore it. If you're a smart fan, you critically think about it like I do. And you kind of, listen to what I'm saying today as far as like, where is it coming from? What are they saying? What is their motive? Why should we think about this being true or not? Is it true? These are all questions you need to ask yourself. And anything, it doesn't even have to do with Raptors and NBA, in media, in politics, especially right now. You need to see if it makes sense. Seriously, all these people are rioters? No, they're peaceful protesters and ordinary citizens. But the media, some of the media forces out there are going to try and paint people as violent, extremist rioters. in the protests this weekend? Nope. Nope. I would say the percentage of people that were like that is very minuscule. And most of the people were grandmas and kids and families and ordinary people that were out there fighting for democracy. That's why you need to have critical thinking when you hear the news source, especially you can't listen to Fox News and believe anything they fucking say. They're owned by Rupert Murdoch. And he has every single reason to try and shape people's heads in the wrong reasons, in the wrong ways for his own maniacal, evil billionaire reasons. So seriously, you gonna listen to Rupert Murdoch? Well, that's Fox News, basically. It's basically just him. It's the only thing. It's what he wants you to believe, is what I'm saying. All right, let's keep going. Don't be disheartened by this. There may be a little bit of energy around the RFF, Stargate, but you know that this is not how we move and operate. No, it's not. No, it's not. Neil is saying this. Stephen A is the main goofball talking about KD is the reason we won the championship. However, we beat the Warriors in both regular season games, even though Warriors had KD. Yeah, that narrative is so dumb, and people can say that. It's disrespectful, honestly. And I really did think after this year, with the preeminence of our former Raptors from that championship team doing so well, like Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, that people would get the memo that, yeah, that Raptors team was stacked and legit, and they are a legit champion. But some people are just haters to that extent that they're going to still continue to hold on this. That's all this is. People who discount the Raptors championship are haters, and they are not the majority in belief. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Most people do really understand the Raptors championship was a huge accomplishment, and they do respect it. They just don't say anything. But there's a very vocal minority that puts us down, like Stephen A. Smith. That's the thing right there. Trevor's saying yesterday was IQ's birthday. Yeah, we celebrated his birthday. I sang happy birthday to him, and I said some very nice things for Emmanuel yesterday. You don't stick around for the whole chat, Trevor. You ain't going to see everything. Randall saying blessings are beloved Raptor freaks, most informative gang. Never get so busy making wealth and living that you forget to make a life. Life is much more than wealth and material possessions. Yes. Yes. I mean, I think that the father that doesn't make as much money, but he stays home and he spends good quality time with his family is more special than the father that absolutely busts his ass and is away and absent from his family and is not a part of his family. I think that that's the sad thing about this is that the grind of today's economy and things makes this harder to do. And you have to make tough decisions because you need to survive and earn money to be able to pay for things. But also at the same time, where's that balance between being away because you're earning money and having actual fun and family time, spending quality time with people? It's a very tough balance, and it's not the same for every single person. You've got to find it in the strike the right balance in your own life. Thank you, Randolph, for your words of wisdom. Blessings to Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. And speaking of Canadian goods, the straight goods on Canadian goods, today we're going to talk about a birthday today and the straight goods on a Canadian goods. Today is the birthday of Kenrick Chronic Art James. Kenrick is an artist here in Toronto, in the Toronto area, that does tattoos and also does art for people on commission. If you want him to draw something beautiful or put some artwork maybe on a wall or something, he can do that for you. And that's why I'm putting the straight goods on a Canadian artist named Kenrick James, who's a Raptor Freak alumni, a Raptor Freak family member. He's a part of our Facebook group, and he's given me some great art pieces over the years to utilize on this channel out of the goodness of his heart. I appreciate you, Kenrick, so much. Happy birthday. Thank you for all the contributions and collaborations you've done with me on this channel already. I look forward to more in the future, possibly. And y'all, I want y'all, if you're getting a new tattoo or something like that, and you're in the Toronto area, let's reach out to Kenrick James and see if he can do that tattoo for you and get him some business. So there's your straight goods on Canadian goods. We're saying happy birthday to Kenrick today. And I'm saying go give him some business. How about that? Boom goes the dynamite. There you go. There you go. Mark is saying, I'm loving the two small market teams in the finals. Best finals since 2019. And I'm a little biased, though. Well, for us up in North, it is a great finals because of the Canadian content and Pascal. And I can get why people down south don't like it. But this is the damn truth. And I'm going to say this once again. The two teams that are in the finals are the truth of basketball. And the truth is it's a team game. And the superstar model is dying. And everybody who's sad about that, who thinks that this is bad for the league, you're idiots. Because in some ways, all the old fans that loved what the basketball used to be before the LeBron era may be coming back, especially if NBC is going to be back, Michael Jordan's going to be back. and we're going to get a playoffs like we got this year going forward. This is great. So all you idiots that think this has been a horrible playoffs, this is a horrible matchup, get over yourselves. In some ways, y'all mess up the league because you think that there should be only haves and have-nots. And if you're not a have, you shouldn't be anywhere near the finals. Well, what does that do for the business model of the league? There's 30 teams, and all 30 teams need to sell tickets and get people's butts in the seats. So if you're going to delineate that this part of the league is just going to be losers all the time and we just look down on them and it's always should be that way, that's not a good business model. Those teams will suffer and they will drag the whole product down. So once again, I'm going to say this. Anybody who has the energy to put down certain NBA teams, certain NBA players, you're the reason the NBA's product has gone downhill because you denigrated it on national television, talking it down. And that's the whole thing that has brought down the value of the NBA overall. That is the number one reason. It's the own. I'm going to continue to say this till I'm blue in the face. The way the ESPN has covered the NBA has dragged it down in its ratings and made it worse. And that is the energy that needs to stop. That is the energy that needs to stop. When you can denigrate your own product and expect people to respect it, you disrespect players and teams in this league. You teach the fans to do the same thing. And then when we get a finals like Indiana and Oklahoma City, nobody respects it because y'all taught them not to respect it. So it's your own damn fault, ESPN and other media sources that put down certain markets and certain teams. If Adam Silver was smart, he'd make the whole damn league bulletproof from the media in certain ways like that. It's like you're unnecessary, Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith, with your putting down of teams. You're not necessary. You're not talking about basketball. You're not talking about anything worthwhile. You're just yelling at each other and putting down the teams and ruining the product more and more. That's what I say to this. Seriously. I'm saying this right now. Milbester's saying Thunder got the championship this year. SGA with the title. Tatum, Joker, and Giannis with the ring. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means exactly. It's not over yet. And Indiana's still got a chance. Stargate's saying I'm spitting facts. And Amit's like, preach, Lex. Listen, in some ways, if I can talk sense to some people today, and you can pass it on to other people that love the Raptors like we do, we can get the word out and we can be more informed and educated on these issues so that we're not falling for these stupid little media booby traps with trade rumors and bullshit like KD and Giannis this summer. Raptors fans, be smarter than this. Trust in Masai and understand Bobby Masai don't talk to anybody. So if you hear anything that they're saying about us, it's bullshit. It's bullshit until it happens. Okay? If it happens, then it's real. But until then, you guys shouldn't be putting any weight into anything anybody says about the Raptors front office and what they're doing because nobody knows. Not even the reporters here in the city know that well. But if anybody's going to know, maybe one of them will know first. And that would be Doug Smith, Josh Lewenberg, Blake Murphy, and Michael Grange. Those four people will know the truth about the Raptors before anybody else. So if you're going to listen to anybody in the media, you should listen to those four names first. Doug Smith, Josh Lewenberg, Blake Murphy, and sadly, Michael Grange. So yeah, Kaloy's saying if you go by the rumors, it sounds like the Raps are after everyone, which is not the front office's usual behavior. We only target two-way guys. Yeah, none of this makes sense. And once again, we're being used as a pawn. And in some ways, it benefits a couple different ways. It benefits like I said, Rich Paul wants to increase leverage for his client. It benefits him in that way, but it also benefits that it causes confusion and disruption in the Raptors fan nation so that we can see, the players that the fans will throw on their bus immediately are Jakob, RJ, and Emmanuel, and Scotty even. For a certain trade for Giannis, they'll throw Scotty on the bus. So they're testing our loyalty to our own players, and y'all are failing. That are so easy to make these trades and say, yeah, we should do this. Y'all are failing, you turncoats. They're so quick to trade Jakob, Scotty, RJ, or Emmanuel. Fuck you guys. You're idiots. These are our guys. And the fact that you don't like them or you want to trade them, the increased scrutiny are saying that, they should trade Jakob. They should trade RJ. That's the forces that are within our fan nation that don't like them being here, infiltrating and coming in and trying to usurp them. We've heard people say bad things about Jakob for years right now. And we know exactly how important he is to our team. So think about it. Why wouldn't it be other fans that are infiltrating our fan spaces and just trying to pry him loose because they want him for their team? Celtics fans have been very open that they would love Pirtle on the Celtics. So stop being idiots and stop thinking that Pirtle is disposable because other fans are coming in and saying, y'all should trade Pirtle. Y'all should trade Pirtle. RJ's the same thing. They don't like the hometown combo, that he's in his hometown and the vibes and the feel and the strongness of him playing for Toronto. They hate that. And our detractors and haters are coming into our fan spaces and making it seem like RJ's disposable. Stop that shit. Do not be a part of it and do not add to it, is what I'm telling Raps Nation. Stand strong and loyal with Scotty, RJ, Jakob, and Emmanuel. And stop doing this shit. You guys are being used as pawns by our haters, and you guys don't even realize it, you dumbasses. So I got to say this to people right now that are very much, oh, trade this, trade that. No, don't be used as a pawn. Don't be used by our enemies, is what I'm saying, guys. And if you don't think I'm being honest on this, you better listen to me. Seriously, this is real. This is very real. Amit's saying Joan at 9 is a little crazy, I think, but I'd be happy to trade down to 20 and get him and another first-round pick, maybe 2. His stock is rising right now. He's really coming out as like one of the very best defensive centers in this draft behind Maluach. And in some ways, I think that I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. Seriously, because height in some ways is such a premium in the NBA, and you want that. And that's why I keep saying they keep putting these undersized guys on us in the mock drafts. Colin Murray-Boyles, Noah Senge, Carter Bryant. These guys are good players, but they're not what we need. And in some ways, there are players right around the draft that are. And I think that Joan is actually better than Noah. And then in some ways, he's going to be a better player for the Raptors in the long run. So he's going to be my guy I'm promoting tomorrow on the Thursday Think Tank. I'll do a little bit on Carter Bryant too, but I want to put the spotlight on Joan because I really do feel like he should be a viable option for the Raptors at 9. And that if you don't think that you think that's a stretch, I'm just saying that wingspan is bad as hell. And he may be a little skinny right now. But once again, with the position we need to get is a Claxton type player. And if it's not going to be Maluach, who's not like Claxton, I want it to either be Newell or Berenguer because they are the closest thing to Nicholas Claxton after that, is what I'm saying. Those two guys right there. Blackhawks saying Raptors will draft best available at the 9th pick. I don't know about that. Scotty, Grady, and Jacoby were the best available picks. High upside picks are usually picked at the top of the draft. Now, in some ways, Grady fell out of the top 10. That makes sense. Jacoby fell all the way to his spot. That makes sense. Scotty was the best available. But I don't think this is necessarily true on this one. And it's, the eye of the beholder is determining who the best available is. And the only eyes that matter are the ones that MU and BW have in their heads. And their eyes of the beholder may not be the same eyes of the beholder that we have. And, it may not be the same that I see. It may be not the same that you see. It may not be the same that anybody sees except for them. And in some ways, we got to trust them with their acumen and what they decide is what talent, because they got Siakam at that pick. And we see who Siakam is now. So I would say this, even if you guys think the trade, you may think that John Berenguer is not possible at 9. It's a reach, like Amit's saying. But if Masai and Bobby see him in a certain way and they understand what he could be, and it may be some of what I see, they might pick him at 9. And it won't be a reach because it'll look real good in the years to come. So we got to remember that. We got to remember that. The eye of the beholder. And the only eyes that matter are Bobby and Masai's. Honestly, guys. They're the only ones that matter. Wayne saying, morning, Raptor freaks. The Raptors roster needs a center and a point guard. Lex Paper is paper. Hope you had more our cloud GMs here on my get on my nerves with their 9 for 20 yap. When had they ever been right? Yes. I mean, we all have track records on predictions and making this and things like that. And honestly, my track record has been really damn good over the 4 years I've done this channel. And the crazy thing is there's all the receipts in the world. We can go back and listen to old streams of mine. And I wonder how much, if you go back in the time machine and listen to me from like 2 or 3 years ago, some of the stuff I said actually came through. Like you could be watching something and it's like, oh, I made a prediction there. And be like, damn, he was right. There's been some big ones. But yeah, I mean, paper is paper. Paper is paper. Yeah, on paper it's paper. But this is the thing. On paper, we look good right now. But we do need to be healthy. That's the other side of it. That's right. Stargate saying, I haven't looked at Jones, so I can't speak on him. He's a true 7-footer. He has a very long wingspan. He has one of the longest wingspans in the whole entire league. He's a little skinny for his frame right now, but he has a lot of potential. We're going to go deep on him tomorrow, along with Carter Bryant. I'll do both of them. Amit's saying, I have to go to the grocery store. I'll be back in 30 minutes, probably. If I don't come back, hope everyone has an amazing day. Thank you, Amit, for coming in. And yes, you keep us updated on your investigations. Yes, sir. And I hope you got a good look at the Naismith Cup and what it looks like. That's right. Trevor's saying LeBron's critical of obsession with ring culture in NBA. I heard about this recently. It's interesting because he gets criticized a lot for, his resume compared to Michael Jordan. And I mean, I get it. In some ways, that is a really good, easy argument for why Michael's better than LeBron. And that's part of the reason why he's saying this is because people have to understand winning a championship is a team accomplishment. And I could be a great player and be on a lot of teams, and we just didn't do any good. That's not my fault. In some ways, I had a bad team around me. That's kind of what is smacking of what he's saying. In some ways, it's kind of a cop out. But I also like kind of what he's saying is that he's saying that that NBA is a team sport, and that y'all need to stop doting on superstar concept and superstar thing. Even though I'm probably a big, huge reason for the blame for this, that it's a team game. And, the finals are exhibiting this. And anybody who hates that, well, your team probably isn't a team. It's maybe a collection of two superstars and a bunch of guys who are just thrown together and they don't play like a team. And, well, your team's going to continue to be unsuccessful in the new NBA. I'm sorry. That's just the damn truth. And this is the right NBA is the way that it was played this year. And even if it means it's the Thunder versus the Pacers and everybody's kind of like, oh, some people are like, oh, this is just so boring. Bullshit. These have been exciting finals. And the games have been competitive and they've been interesting and intriguing and exciting. And it's just idiots that only worry about, LeBron, that hate this. King's exactly right on our To The Point collaborations. He said, oh, just because LeBron's not here, y'all don't like the finals? You're idiots. You are idiots. LeBron almost killed the NBA because he was in the finals too much. In some ways, his stranglehold on the NBA, some people like it. Lazy people who just want to root for an easy winner. But most of us were sick of seeing LeBron in the finals every year. Seriously. A lot of us were. Michael's here. Good to see Michael Borland, longtime Raptor freak. The Raps ended up signing Anthony Parker due to that loss. Yeah, that's an interesting thing that happened in that history. And we're talking about the Naismith Cup today and the whereabouts of where the Naismith Cup is. That's right. Michael, good to see you in the chat live this morning. Once again, Michael Borland, longtime Raptor freak. Let's see. I got to get to the right spot. It jumped ahead. Wayne's saying, I suggest that we separate the 4K crowd from the reality conversations so I can shut my yap and not opine on 2K, 4K discussions. Our roster is being finely tuned. Let's see our picks and then review. Okay. Yes. I'm with Wayne on all of this right here. In some ways, look, if you guys want to do trade talk, we can do a little bit here, but it has to be within reason with critical thinking first. Do not come in here with garbage that is like not really like I can put holes through it right away and say this is not real. If you want to bring me trade rumors, they have to be plausible and they have to be stuff like what Smooth's been giving me, like with the sham stuff. And like, we can look at bullshit rumors and we can kind of critically think through each one while we're here, like we did with the Giannis stuff this summer and the Kevin stuff. But in some ways, I don't want it to be a huge percentage of the content on this channel. That's the important part right there. Yeah, Isaac's here. I'm just projecting as to which actors are going to play Amit and Lex. I know. I kind of like when I said that yesterday, if we do this and we figure this out, maybe they'll make a movie about us called the Naismith Cup or something like that. And Isaac wants to say who would play us. Okay, and he's saying Amit will be played by Tobey Maguire and I will be played by Gene Hackman. That's crazy because Gene Hackman died last year. What are you doing to me, Isaac? Like the story about Gene Hackman's sad, man. Him and his wife died at their house and nobody came to get the bodies. Like his family hated him and they didn't bury him correctly. He's like still at the morgue, I think, just laying on a slab and not being properly put in the ground. That's so sad, man. What do you get to that point with your family where your kids don't even want to pick you up and have a funeral for you? Man, well, you know that he's dead, right? He retired from acting a long time ago, too. And you don't know what he looked like recently, man. Isaac, even though this is insulting, I'm going to go ahead and give you a dunk for creativity, even though you kind of just insulted the hell out of me. But it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of funny castings. I like Tobey Maguire for Amit. That's a great casting there. 21 for Isaac for calling me Gene Hackman. He died, right? He died. Seymour saying, I'm not surprised on Channing Frye's take. Him and Ryan Hollins, trash players with low IQ bench huggers, always talking down our club with 2-finger salute. Yeah, I'm not surprised about Channing Frye. It's just the audacity to be disrespectful to Kyle Lowry to his face is what pisses me off. No, give respect to that man. That man contributed more to getting a championship than you did, my guy. Seriously, you may have been on Cleveland and caught a ring there, but honestly, how much did you do to actually get that ring, riding along with LeBron in the back seat? Come on now. Come on now. Listen, in some ways, it's like if I was Kyle, I would be like, I'm never doing a collaboration with Channing Frye ever again. Fuck you, Channing Frye. You piece of shit. You were disrespectful to me. You're disrespectful to the city of Toronto and the country of Canada and the Toronto Raptors franchise. So, yeah, that's how I would be if I was Kyle Lowry. I'd be saying, you know what, Kevin, I love doing that podcast with you, but I'll never do one with Channing Frye again. Fuck that guy. He's a loser and he's an idiot. Yeah, there you go. I wrote him a message on Instagram. I wrote him a very nasty message, honestly, straight to Channing Frye. Kaloy saying, what would be the movie like, Isaac Campbell? The movie title? What would be the movie title? It would be called the Naismith Cup. We call it the Quest for the Naismith Cup. How about that? The Quest for the Naismith Cup. And maybe people will think it's a movie, a sports movie about like a basketball team playing in games, but no, it'll be more like Goonies. It'll be more like Goonies. It's like we're Goonies, and I'm like the Mackenzie Aston, and Ahmed is like Mouth or something like that. He's not Chunk, he's Mouth. Yeah, it would be like Goonies. It'd be more like Goonies. Michael's saying, I believe Parker hit a buzzer beater. Yeah, he did. He hit it right the last second and beat us. So in some ways, Andy Parker, oh man, you hurt us before you came to us, but then you came and played for us, which was kind of cool. But that was a bad era. Stargate saying Masai did say their priority is getting a big first and a third point guard. Why would he lie? Don't know why people think they will draft another wing, even if it's the best available talent. It just doesn't make any sense. Seriously, especially if the draft flattens out at pick number 9, like some ESPN experts are gaslighting about. It's like to really make Raptors fans feel like the Raptors are not doing a good job because, they could have had the 7th pick, but it flattens out after the 7th pick and they're in the 9th pick. Some Raptors fans will see that and they're not really fans. They will look for everything to be critical of the front office and say, they're so idiots. They had to pick at 9 instead of 7. How did they control that, Raptors fans? Hello. How did they control that? Seriously, it's so stupid, man. But yeah, I really do believe that this draft is rich with big men, that the Raptors can pick a center and it's still like in some ways not only best available fit, but in some ways a best available player also possibly. Seriously. Randolph saying if they want us to just be a farm team that develops players for America, our front office has learned their lessons, teams. Yeah. I mean, this is what some mentalities is. Some people may look at the Hornets this way. Some people may look at some of the lesser successful teams in the NBA like this. And that's the thing. You can't have farm teams in the league that are your competitors. Your farm team is your G League team. So stop looking at us like that. We're not doing this for y'all. We develop players for ourselves, and we are going to go get championships for ourselves. And y'all may have vultured our championship team, but let's see if they do the same damn thing to the Thunder after they win this championship. Do you think that they'll vulture them? I want to see the energy that comes at the Thunder next year and how many people are pried away and dismantled from their team, just like they did come at the Raptors after we won our championship, taking Kawhi right away. I mean, nobody's going to come get SGA right off the bat, right after a championship this summer, which in some ways shows an unfairness there. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be some sort of like stealing the parts of the championship team in Oklahoma City that if they win it, and they won't be as strong partly because of that. Whether they lose assistant coaches because they get hired other places, whether they lose bench players that are important to their run right now, people like Aaron Wiggins, people like Alex Caruso, people like Cason Wallace, that go all of a sudden to other places. Because when you're the champion, all of a sudden people want your players and your coaches, and they try and dismantle your team a little bit from the outside. That's why it's so hard to stay at top. And that's why all the preemptive talk that the Thunder are going to be a dynasty and going to win a bunch of champions in the next couple of years is not true, because the NBA will come at them like piranhas and start biting little pieces off of the carcass. and they will lose part of their players because of this. That's the pattern in recent years. The last few champions have had players have to leave, whether it was Milwaukee, Denver, or Toronto. And, Boston's going to feel the late effect of this. They had one more year of keeping it together, but they may see some changes this summer and where they lose some of their key players from their championship year last year. So, yeah, in some ways, if you can see the team stay together like the Warriors did very successfully over the 2010s, the NBA is helping them stay together in certain ways. You can say, no, that was the management of the front office of the Warriors did that. No, also the NBA in some ways is quieting the noise and trying to media-wise keep Draymond, Steph, and Clay on the same team together. In some ways, they'll pull apart other places by saying this, this, and this to try and make that. They really are manipulative. You got to understand this. Stargate saying, especially with the logjam they already have at the wing position. Yeah, there's no reason to get a wing right now, guys. There really, really isn't. And I'll be upset if the Raptors pick a high quality 2 or 3 at the 9th pick. I really will be upset. I'll think it's be a big mistake, big mistake. It's going to cause headaches for our team, honestly. Neil saying the draft is not the only way to get players. Masai will use all the tools he has available, and it will happen on his timeline. They have not solved all roster issues in one season, so stay tuned in. Yeah, and there's going to be tweaking. It's not exactly the next championship team right now, but hopefully we've got like 6 or 7 of the guys that'll be on the next championship team, and they'll be tweaking. And the closer we get to the next Larry O'Brien for the Raptors, then there will be moves like Kawhi and Marc Gasol and leading up to it solidifying our chances to get a best chance to get the second Larry O'Brien in Toronto. That's right. All hail Masai. That's right. Michael's saying, Kobe Shlomo Tel Aviv is who Pat Bev plays for. Okay, so he's not on Maccabi. Okay, so he's on a different team in Israel. Okay, good information, Michael. Thank you. Stargate saying, I also see a bit of an issue in San Antonio if they draft Dylan Harper. Is he willing to come off the bench? Yeah, and Spurs fans are very aware of this, that's a logjam. They got De'Aaron Fox as one of their big acquisitions in the recent years. They got Stephon Castle. If they get Dylan Harper, that's a logjam, and that's going to cause issues. So a lot of the Spurs fans are actually saying, forget about Harper. Let's draft Malawach. Like even the Spurs fans are kind of calling out for Common to get drafted to them in their pick at number 2. So it's crazy. It could be Cooper Flagg, and then immediately his Duke Blue Devil teammate at 2. Common's off the board right at 2. Because he is getting he's gone up in the draft stock. And in some ways, I would say, in my expert opinion, that he's a better player to come in the NBA than both the Rutgers guys, both of them. I feel like they're false flags and they're possible busts. In some ways, Dylan Harper's not a good shooter, guys. Let's just put it that way. So Stargate saying at Blackhawk, I'm trying to get you to admit you are looking for one of those wings to be traded and which one it is. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about trading any of our Raptors, Oshai, Jacoby, Grady, RJ. I don't care. I like this team we're on, and I want to stay loyal to them. I don't want any of the Raptors watching my show and saying, oh, Lex would trade me in a heartbeat. No, that's not the right way to be as a fan. I love our team. I think our team's very good. And I think that I'm not astute enough to have the expertise to understand what Masai and Bobby should do. Like a lot of people are thinking they are. I don't feel like I am, and I pay attention to this team 365 days a year, and the way I do, talking about it every morning in 2 hours, why the hell do people out there that watch the team less than I do think that they know what the Raptors should do better than me, let alone Masai and Bobby? I say to myself, I don't know what to do better than them. So why do y'all think y'all know better? I'm not saying you guys, but these people that do think they do know better. Seriously. I mean, I am kind of an expert on this and should know, but I'm humble enough to say I don't know better than them. I don't know better than them. That's right. Milbester saying, does the Thunder win in the finals? How does it affect the Sonics coming back with the NBA expansion? It would be good for Seattle and Clay Bennett stole the team, which they were located. Well, first of all, the first championship banner that's hanging in Oklahoma City needs to go back to Seattle. And that's basically it. If you win the championship, that's great. And Seattle comes back next year, you guys have your first championship, Oklahoma City, but you won't have 2. The first championship that was won in 1979 by the Seattle Supersonics with Jack Sikma, Dennis Johnson, and Lenny Wilkins will go back to Seattle, rightfully where it should be in their arena. And honestly, all the history for the Seattle Supersonics needs to be in Seattle. And in some ways, it annoys me that it got transferred over to. I understand why Michael Cage has to do the broadcast for the Thunder because he's a Sonic. He's from the Sonic days, and his team became the Thunder. But in some ways, Michael Cage needs to go back to Seattle too, along with that championship banner from '79. So that's the way I look at it. Stargate saying, "Hey man, I'm okay with anyone Masai and Bobby choose, just as long as it's not these three players: Con Knuppel, Derek Queen, and Carter Boyles. Yeah, Colin Murray Boyles. Carter Boyles, no, Murray Boyles. And for all different reasons. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, the knucklehead that Queen is. Con Knuppel, maybe the next Chris Mullin, but in some ways he is also very high bust factor possibly in this league. And Murray Boyles is undersized. And so we got, there's the three very different reasons right there. That's right. The Fiercely saying, don't forget to vote in WNBA All-Star. Yeah, make sure you guys vote for this. I voted once, and I keep forgetting, so I need to do it again. I really do. James is saying, not a fan of Khan either. We got too many shooting guards. I think he's an interesting throwback player, but he's undersized. I think that a lot of what he did successfully for Duke is the team he's on and the prestige, and also the fact that it's college. And in the NBA, he ain't going to do half that shit. I mean, let's think about Reed Shepherd for Houston. In some ways, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Reed Shepherd could be the most valued in this kind of way in the college game, but it doesn't translate. And, Con Knuppel, he's interesting in some of the ways he can do stuff, but in some ways, some of that shit is not going to translate to the next level. And that's the thing that people keep forgetting is that a lot of this stuff doesn't translate. So we'll have to see. Stargate saying there is a player that I really like and can see him being a very good NBA player, and he's totally under the radar because he is not a huge, flashy offensive player and not a center. Ooh, I wonder who it is. He won't tell us. Wayne saying, I heard the Raptors are planning a trade for Norman Powell, Van Vliet, and OG. Assets going are RJ, IQ, and Pirtle. The aim is to acquire the biggest fish yet to be determined. Source, Amalgamated Dunce. Okay, you want a dunk? You got one, Wayne. When I can read sarcasm sometimes, especially when the word dunce is at the end of it. And I'm going to give Wayne a big dunk right here. Yeah, 54 on the dunk chart for Wayne Strainer. Yeah, we get the message and what you're saying. I want other people to get this message, though. Yeah, I would love to have some of those guys back someday, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. Some ways you just got to go forward in the future and not revisit the past all the time, guys. Stargate saying, I think this kid is going to be what they wanted Ben Simmons to be as a big point guard, but he has to go through the right team. Is it Igor Demin? No, it's not Igor Demin. It's saying Demin is the 6'7" Dragic. Well, that's not appealing to me at all. Why would you want somebody like Dragic? He's a loser. In some ways, he wasn't a true point guard or a true shooting guard. But yeah, that's funny. They're going to use that. That's not going to sell it to me. That's for sure. Milbester saying SportsCenter mentioned a story on how Greg Popovich used his own money to move DeJounte Murray's mother to San Antonio when he was shot in the leg. And this was after Murray was traded to the Spurs. Yeah, Greg Popovich is a really benevolent, sweet person who does amazing things for his players. He goes above and beyond. That's why his players love him so much. That's why he made such a special, important bond with DeMar DeRozan. And yeah, this doesn't surprise me at all. In some ways, I'm surprised that DeJounte didn't try harder for him to stick in San Antonio, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Seymour saying, I have no clue on the rookies. I believe in Bobby Masai. I'm with you on that. Stargate saying, Lex, I meant it's annoying, not is annoying. I know you said Lex is annoying. I was like, I am annoying. Trust me. Some people will tell you that I'm annoying, for sure. I'm just saying at Seymour, Demon is 6'9" without shoes. He's an interesting idea, but the problem with Demon is that I feel like he has too much of the similar bag as Scotty, and that in some ways we want Scotty to be that role no matter what. And in some ways, Igor, if he was on the Raptors, he might be stepping on Scotty's toes. And we don't need that. We don't need that around there. We got Scotty. Scotty does what Igor does. And in some ways, Igor is not necessary in Toronto. It would cause maybe some stupid stuff, is what I'm saying. We don't need a duplicate of Scotty in some ways. Some people say, no, we need a duplicate. No, in some ways we don't, because we want more scorer guys like we have, like Brandon and RJ around Scotty. And Igor Demin coming to the Raptors, he may be a little bit more of what Scotty does. I don't know if Bobby Masai saw it and they liked it and they wanted it. Okay, we'll figure out why. But to me, in some ways, it's just too much Scotty and Igor. Too much Scotty. Yeah, interesting. That's right. Stargate saying, so you are not annoying, Lex. Okay, I appreciate that. I can be annoying to some people, I'm sure. G saying, haha, Stargate. That's what I figured, but Lex ran with it. Well, I'm going to read verbatim what you guys write in, even if there's funny spell checks and different weird things that happen. That's just part of the fun of the improvisation of the Raptor Freak stream. It's not Igor. Okay. It's not Igor. Happy birthday to Kenrick. Yeah, happy birthday, Kenrick. Stargate saying, now I'm not saying the Raptors should select this player. I'm saying that I see things in this particular player's skill set that can translate well to the NBA. Well, tell us. You're building such a good suspense here, Stargate. We want to know. We want to know. Reggie saying, per even Siddery. All right. He's a fairly reliable source. We got to make sure their names are spelled correctly, too. There's a lot of fake accounts that are just a little bit off the real name, and they will act like they're the real person, but they're not. His Suns have no interest in Jalen Green. They are canvassing the league to find a third team to take him. Okay, wait a second. So that's saying that Kevin's going to Houston, but Houston's trying to trade Jalen Green for Kevin Durant, and they don't want to take him, so they're trying to figure out a third team that would want to get Jalen Green. Man, I told y'all Jalen Green is not as good of an NBA player as everybody thinks he is. Because obviously some teams don't want him, including his own team and the Suns. Seymour saying, I fall out with a friend from Pascagoula, Mississippi. He honors the orange man's every word. I'm not for it. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible that he's fell into that cult of bullshit and sadness. That is really what's happening is like some people are getting brainwashed. And that's very much by design. And Fox News has been one of the biggest tools for this brainwashing over the decades now. And in some ways, this is why we have so many idiots that are detached from reality. It's because Fox News has been lying to them for like 20 years. And sadly, a lot of older people watch Fox News and they're absolutely idiots. I would blame Fox News for this and your friend. And it's sad, but they are in Mississippi and that checks, that text. I would ask, is this a person of color? Because if they are, they're really not doing themselves a service in supporting Donald Trump. That's for sure. Seriously, I don't get how any Latinos supported Donald last year. You see what he's doing to the Latino communities in the United States right now. It's your own damn fault if you did that. If you're a Latino that came here legally and you're like happy he's doing all this, you're a sad, twisted person that you would wish anguish and separation and sadness for other people just because you got legal status before them. You may have gone the same route as them and you just had the benefit of coming earlier before all this bullshit, but they would have treated you the same damn way if you lived in this era right now and you were at that status. So yeah, I can't get behind people that support Trump that are, a lot of people that are minorities that support him. You're all crazy. Seriously, you are crazy because he is not for y'all right now. He's a white supremacist and he hates black people on the down low. His family always has. His father, Fred, was a slumlord in New York City that subjugated minorities and poor people as raising rents and just being a really awful person. In fact, a lot of the fortunes of Elon Musk and Donald Trump are built off of exploiting people of color, whether it's the people of color in South Africa or the people of color in New York. It's just they're on a grift and they're doing it now on a whole larger scale in the United States also. Yeah. I totally understand why you ain't got nothing to do with that guy if he's brainwashed by the orange man. Trevor's saying microphone caught Trump saying he wants people to bow down to him like they do in North Korea. Well, that's what I'm saying, man. This guy is for real. Wannabe dictator, and it's so funny that his parade looks so shitty and rained on and pathetic because honestly that don't show no strong man, and if anything you show that you're a weak ass sorry ass piece of shit and that nobody loves you or cares about you or supports you really in a meaningful way because yeah, it's all hollow and stupid and it's a stage and you had to pay people to come there and they didn't even come. Then seriously, he had ads up on Craigslist for paid attendees for his parade, and nobody took that money to even come there. More people were out in the streets for free protesting against him. It was like 130 people at his parade, 13 million people against him out in the streets. You tell me what's the truth. You tell me what's the reality. That's right. You tell me. That's right. Smooth saying, really think it'll come down to Houston for KD. They are the team most interested and want to get a trade done, in my opinion. I know you're partial to this, though, Reggie. and this is me critically thinking, Reggie really thinks the trade's going to happen with the Rockets. And I don't know, that Jalen Green rumor you just put out kind of says that it may be. But I've also heard a rumor that Jeremy Sohan is going to be a Phoenix Sun very soon. And that would mean that KD's going to the Spurs. So until I know for sure, I know those two are probably the two front runner teams, but it could be San Antonio that's getting Kevin after all. And it won't be Houston. So we need to be ready for that, Smooth, just in case, either way. But then again, I have the proclivity to root for the Spurs as you have the proclivity to root for the Rockets. And maybe that's shaping our own our partialities in our own heads are shaping what we see. I think that's it right there. Critical thinking and knowing your own proclivities. That's right. All right, let's do the Instagram stories real quick. We got AJ Lawson lifting heavy weights in the gym. A lot of the Raptors have been posting a lot of workout videos recently, and it's good to see AJ's in there working. There's a fantastic, huge dunk in the Raptors jersey. We love you, AJ Lawson of Brampton. You keep going on in your off season right now. Here's his words of wisdom. He's saying faith is when you praise God in the storm, you trust him in the valley, and you follow him in the dark. There you go. AJ Lawson speaking on faith. Vin Bagnani is in Singapore, guys, with his wife, and he's at some sort of event over there. Basketball Without Borders, I think, is what's going on. And yeah, he's in Singapore right now. He's sightseeing. He's at some temple with a bunch of dolls and icons on it. And there he's getting some interesting fruit from the market. And yeah, they're having juice, him and his wife, and they're in Singapore. So Vin Bagnani, Raptors assistant coach, is at Basketball Without Borders there. We're getting a workout with Andrew Jones and the kids right now, Ava and his son doing what they do. Leo Routen's words of wisdom this morning. Stay focused on what builds you, not what breaks you. Good morning. Coffee helps. So there you go. Stay focused on what builds you, not what breaks you. I love that. Kelly Olynyk is at the dinner table once again. And he's in Seoul, South Korea, guys. So Kelly is overseas also in South Korea currently, being a foodie, getting all the foods and eating them. He's with a buddy. Is that Eric Curry? No, that's not Eric Curry. That guy's too cool to be Eric Curry. He's got the dumplings. He's got the dim sum. Yeah, Kelly's doing it right over there. Well, that's a crazy strawberry dessert that he's got on there. Yeah, this man needs to work for Food Network. I'm sorry. There he is in the streets of South Korea in Seoul right now, Kelly Olynyk. There's Kyle Lowry posting a picture of him at the parade from 6 years ago today with the Raptors in the championship parade underneath the overpass on the bus with his glasses and his Damon Stoudemire jersey. So happy to see Kyle reminiscing on the championship. Jamal Shed is happy birthday to 5. Emmanuel Quickly yesterday wishing Emmanuel a happy birthday on his Instagram stories. And then he got some clothing packages. He's got something from Ledecky and the Lost Character. And I'm not sure what the brand is here. I guess it's Lost Character is the brand. So he's got a swag bag from them. Jacoby Walters got a picture of him as a youngster with his family. And he's so cute, man. He's like the littlest kid in this picture, I'm pretty sure. He's like the youngest in this picture. I'm pretty sure that's who he is in that picture. I'm maybe not totally right. Let's see. Who else do we have to check in on? Grady Dick is saying happy birthday, brother, to Emmanuel Quickly. A picture of him and Emmanuel on the court. And he's in New York now. He's moved on from Montreal this past weekend to New York City. And there he is with Carla taking a selfie in the mirror, the beautiful couple. Let's see. Lloyd's listening to Ian. The song is Wimbledon. And who else we got? Jay Nathan saying a happy birthday to Emmanuel Quickly. Norman Powell still over in Paris and France and getting all kinds of stuff done. Influential Beach presented by PayPal. Okay, is that some sort of talk? Let's see. But yeah, he's over in Cannes where they do the film festival. Hello, Jack Armstrong is celebrating Emmanuel Quickly's birthday. Happy birthday to Emmanuel from Jack Armstrong. Emmanuel Quickly's got cute pictures of him with his siblings and different people in his family saying happy birthday, twin. And yeah, I guess it's his birthday too. So yeah, they have their birthdays right around the same time, his sister and him. And there's a picture of young Emmanuel from school. You know, Emmanuel went to a very, very nice high school that was very expensive. And yeah, there's a picture of him with his friend from way back in the day saying happy birthday, bro. And there he is with Kevin Kangu, who's a very close friend of his also. Happy birthday to my brother. And more birthdays coming in for Emmanuel from different people all over the place. Coach Bryant, happy birthday to Emmanuel. There's a picture of him with his mother when he's a little kid. The Emmanuel pictures when he's a kid are so cute. So cute. And there's the happy birthday from the Raptors official admin. And there's another picture of young, tiny Emmanuel. He is so cute. Oh my gosh. Emmanuel had those cheeks as a kid. He still kind of got those cheeks as a man, as an adult. But man, Emmanuel had those cheeks like Emmanuel Lewis. Seriously, there's a little bit of Emmanuel Lewis like features in Emmanuel quickly. Orlando Robinson still on the court, putting in work this summer. I see there. Raptors are posting pictures of former draft picks. Also, we had some sort of event, MLSE Foundation Celebration of Impact, and they had a couple speakers there, including Keith Pelly, who got up there. The president of MLSE was up there introducing Jamal McGlure and giving him props as the community ambassador for the Raptors. And Jamal was there and stood up and waved to everybody. But good to see Keith Pelly speaking up the Raptors and being involved as the MLSE president. Let the Raptors basketball people run the basketball stuff, Keith. And that means both Masai and Bobby. That's what we want. That'll make our team best. And there are a couple of Toronto legends sitting in a row right there. We had Daryl Sittler, Jamal McGlure, and Pinball Clemens all at this event for MLSE yesterday. Also, we got RJ Barrett wishing Emmanuel Quickley a happy birthday on the last slide of today's Instagram stories. There you go. There's your Instagram stories right at 2 hours. We got to keep going. No trading Jakob or RJ. That's right. Pause. Stop. What? You starting with that right away? No, I don't want to hear it. There's no reason to trade these guys. We need these guys on our team. And if you want them out, well, you're not for what I want for this team to win with those guys on it. I mean, do you understand how awesome it would be for RJ Barrett to win an NBA championship on a Raptors jersey in Toronto? Seriously, Raptors fans, why can't we make this dream a reality? Let's go do it. And we need to have Rowan Barrett Jr. on the team to make this happen. So y'all trading him so quick out of here. Well, that's not very Toronto or Raptors like, is it? No, it's not. So stop acting out and taking influence or advice from people that don't want good things for us. And that's why I say covet and value and protect RJ Barrett on the Raptors at all costs. Seriously, all costs. That's right. So we're saying Houston just has to wait it out. Be patient. I would tell you right now, if you're asking me, Reggie, and once again, I'm biased. We can critically think about this, and it's your bias for Houston. San Antonio has the better assets to do the trade to get Kevin than Houston. They do. They just do. They got blanket picks that they could just trade, and they're different ones. They have 2 top 10 picks, I think, and they could trade either one of them and entice them a little bit better. So I would say that's the ace up the sleeve for the Spurs, is that they have better trade packages than the Rockets, I think, to get Kevin. Seriously, I can see that. Fiercey's giving my cutoff. Thank you, Fiercey. W Stream. Trevor's saying, yeah, just bring everybody and stock them on the Raptors like it's a warehouse. I know. What is this? What do you guys think this is? Seriously, we got the team we got right now. Let's be happy with it and go forward with it in success, because they're going to be successful, y'all. That's right. Amit's saying John Berenguer is so raw, even more so than Malawach. He only started playing basketball like 4 years ago, but from our history, we have a lot of success with guys like that. It's just that, once again, we've said this before, is you can't teach wingspan. You can't teach height. And if you've got those tools, we can teach you the other stuff then. That's the thing. That's the thing right there. That's right. James is saying KD would have averaged 30 points per game if he wasn't playing with Booker and Beal. Still has a couple more good years in him. I don't believe this. There's no evidence of this, James, because honestly, he's independent of these guys. I don't think he would step up and average that stuff without those guys around. In some ways, we got to look at what he's done in Brooklyn and Phoenix. And he's been half hurt. And he has not been the same player that he was. He just isn't. I'm telling you, he's close to the end of his career, and he cannot do the things that you think he can do anymore. And the place where it matters the most is in the playoffs. That's the thing. If they got to the playoffs in Phoenix the last 2 years, he would have disappeared and they would have failed and lost anyway, even though they didn't even make the playoffs. That's how bad they are. And that's evidenced by the things that he did in Brooklyn, too. I mean, they had 3 Hall of Famers on Brooklyn. And they couldn't figure out how to make that work. You know, I'm telling you right now, he's washed. He may not be totally washed physically, but he's washed mentally to a degree. And in some ways, he's going to get in the way of any team winning a championship. The only team I could see that could work around him and they could get him to help them is San Antonio. Seriously, that's the one spot where I think he could still be successful in the rest of his career. I think if he goes to Houston, he might screw that team up. and not help them because they're a younger team in some ways that don't have the best leadership in some ways, and they needed to be fixed by MA and Fred. Well, Kevin can come in there and screw up that power structure if they're not careful. I don't know how much he respects Dylan Brooks. And as far as things with Wemby and Popovich and Chris Paul being there last year, in some ways the Spurs have a better established kind of maturity to their team that they can handle being Kevin around. And in some ways, they don't need to rely on Kevin so heavily like these other teams have had to. He could kind of be more at ease, and that may help him stay healthier because he's not having to bear the brunt of responsibility for carrying the team like he had to in both Brooklyn and Phoenix. So I would say the best landing spot for Kevin and for his possibilities to be successful is San Antonio. It is. As I could see him going to any other team and being disruptive and screwing that team up with toxic vibes like he has the last two spots. So Reggie's saying KD can make the most positive impact on the Rockets in the half court, especially. He can't fuck around with Fred and Brooks there. Can he, though? He supersedes those guys. Seriously. And how much talk will be in the locker room about what we've been talking about with the championship matchup between Fred and Kevin? And, well, is Kevin actually going to show respect towards the Raptors? Maybe. He's kind of like that. He probably would be like, nah, y'all beat us for real. And honestly, it didn't matter if I was hurt or not. Y'all probably going to beat us. But who knows? Maybe he'll hold the line like Draymond and other Golden State people. And that could be an issue. I think that Kevin Durant is a special player that he comes in, he's going to be like looked at as the top person in the team no matter what. And you don't want that leader on your team at this point, is what I'm saying. I think that in some ways Popovich may be able to rein him in, even not as a coach, along with the Spurs culture, which is very, very steady. Rockets don't have a long established culture right now. They've got it for the last couple of years since Fred showed up in MA. But before that, think about what they were and where they were. Spurs have a more established way of doing things, is what I'm saying. Smooth saying, make it a worthwhile risk. Cam Whitmore, Alperen Sengun, and Amon Thompson are if they're still there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the trade packages would be. And in some ways, once again, we're speculating and stuff that hasn't happened. Kaloy saying the only rumor I understand was Giannis, but all the rest are BS, trying to fuck the chemistry and only using the Raptors. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't even think the Giannis stuff was real at all either, and it's the same stuff. It's just trying to make noise, trying to test the loyalty of the fan nation towards key players on their team, like Jakob and RJ and Scotty. And a lot of Raptors Nation failed because they're so easy to trade these guys away, which is so stupid. Smooth saying, I know I've said it in the past. Fred for KD, that's actually ignorant on my part. Fred is a no-nonsense, and KD would need a point guard like him to be the best version of himself. I think that it would be more attractive to him to come there and Fred's there with him than him showing up and Fred's gone, going the other way to Phoenix. So I could say that. I could see that. Let's see. Also, Smooth saying, I really hope and want KD in Houston. I think that's potentially a finals team with KD. I really do. Yeah, I don't see it. For some reason, I just don't see it. I think that he would backtrack y'all and they wouldn't get better. That would actually be a step back. Seriously. Stargate saying RJ, IQ, Brandon, Scotty, Yak, healthy is one hell of a starting five. Come on, guys. What's the aversion some of you have with this lineup that some of you want to get rid of for somebody else so badly? And please don't say anything relating to money. Yeah, and yeah. All of that. I'll second whatever he's saying here. Cause I swear some people are more fans of basketball business dealings behind the scenes than the actual game played in the court. Shaking my head. Yeah. And that's weaponized too. They'll say, oh, they won't pay this, but they will pay this for this person. Stuff with Siakam and OG. It's just really toxic. And just let the front office make their decisions. Don't second guess them. And just trust that we're going towards the next championship and not like spinning our wheels like a lot of teams do in this league. Seriously. Reggie saying, looking at Houston and where they're at, they're almost like Toronto in 2016. A bunch of young guys with a vet point guard and no DeMar DeRozan. KD could be DeMar for that Rockets team. Yeah, once again, there's a lot of presupposing and stuff like that. A lot of daydreaming. But yeah, I don't know. You may be right in some ways. We'll have to see. But this is speculation. Houston is my childhood team, man, like the Raptors are for some of you. Yeah, it's not mine. My childhood team was the Pistons and then the Magic and then the Raptors when they came into existence in 95. So in the 80s, I was a Pistons fan and a Spurs fan. And then in the 90s, I was a Magic fan and a Spurs fan. And then in 95, it changed to Raptors #1 for sure and a Spurs fan. So Spurs have always been one of my teams since I started watching the NBA. And but the Eastern Conference team for me changed 3 times. It was Detroit for the Bad Boys until the Magic came in '89, and I jumped on the bandwagon with an expansion team with the Orlando Magic for 5 years, and then the Raptors jumped in as the expansion team, and that's where I jumped in there. So, yep, there we go. There we go. James is saying Timberwolves is good fit for Durant as well. I think he's already publicly said he does not want to go to Minnesota. He does not want to go to Minnesota. Amit's saying, what are the Goonies? Amit, you got to go watch a movie. That's what you got to go do. Look up the movie The Goonies and watch that movie, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Stargate saying, because they talk about salary caps and contracts and trades and aprons and all that shit from far more than playing on the court. Yeah, business in the NBA is important, sure, to balance the cap sheet and make sure you're fitting in a full roster on the money you got. But honestly, once again, there's a lot of aspects to the business of basketball. And building a winning product there's not a surefire recipe. And every team's got a different path to doing it. And people thinking that we should do everything exactly like everybody else, well, that's part of your fault of thinking that way, because the Raptors are a special case out of the 30 teams, and we do have to do things a little bit differently. So just because we don't do things exactly like the other NBA teams doesn't mean we're doing it wrong or we're not going to get the next championship, because the first championship got to the way we did it, and that's how it worked. And that's what I say to Raptors fans. Well, we don't do it like anybody else, and stop comparing us to other teams and saying we need to do it like other teams, because we don't. We never did. And we didn't do the first one like the other teams either. We got that championship the way we did it. And that's the Toronto way. That's right. That's right. James is saying, Lex, are we getting a game 7 for the finals prediction? I hope so. It really will hinge on Tyrese's health and coming back and hopefully being able to contribute. And the home crowd advantage of the Pacers is going to have to come through big time. The fans really need to help them badly. If they don't have Halliburton correctly, they're going to really need to pivot into Siakam heavier, and they're going to have to get some of the other guys to step up and fill the void that Halliburton will not be filling for them. And I hope they do. I really do want the Pacers to win game 6, and there will be a game 7. All the drama in the world. We want to see that. If Scott Foster's on the ref sheet for the next game, well, we'll know. That was intentional because they wanted to extend the series. So we'll see. Yeah. Stargate saying, I don't get how people still think KD on any team at this point is going to propel any team to a championship, given his record, his recent history. Can't you see this man ruins franchises? Exactly. See, this is the thing I'm trying to say. He automatically comes in. He's the big dog, most esteemed player, no matter where he goes. And the young players look up to him. Now, the problem with Kevin is he's half-assing his career at this point. You think he's like Pascal? No, he's not. You think he's like a hard-ass worker like DeMar DeRozan? I don't even know if Kevin Durant has DeRozan code in him. Seriously. So I would just say this. He's not a good role model for most of the young players that play on the team with him. In some ways, he's a false person that you think you're going to be able to rely on and clutch. But at this point in his career, he doesn't have it anymore. And he will not step up at the end of games like Irving does still and carry you in clutch situations. In fact, he's more likely to disappear and let you down if you get anywhere. So think about it this way. Think about James Harden in the playoffs and what he does. Kevin Durant does the same damn shit. So you could have a great regular season next year with Kevin Durant in your lineup, and then the playoffs come around and he completely disappears for you when you need him the most. That is the pattern with Kevin at this point. And open your eyes and see what Stargate and I see. Seriously. Isaac saying, I'm a gaming 80s venture movie. That's right. It's an 80s movie. Yeah. Amit saying, Thunder have no unrestricted free agents this offseason, so they will run it back next season with another 2 first-round picks and Nikola Topic. Yeah, I mean, but still, don't underestimate the NBA's ability to pull apart small market team that they don't want to stay at the top for different reasons. And they don't probably want Oklahoma City to be the top dog in the years to come, just like they didn't want Toronto to be. So don't underestimate their ability to pull things apart, even without free agency and stuff going on. Trust me, you'll see it, and I'll point it out when it happens. And the other thing that's not attractive to them in some ways is SGA. He's Canadian, and they'd much rather have the top player and the top team in the league not run by a guy from Hamilton. So they will manipulate this on the down low, Amit, and it's in their financial interest to not allow the Thunder to be a dynasty. So let's pay attention to this. Even though Sam Presti's done an amazing job and they are set up to go forward very well, be very aware that the NBA may be actively trying to dismantle the Thunder in certain ways. Just trust me on this. Stargate saying, where are the Brooklyn Nets and the Phoenix Suns now? He's a toxic asset. Yeah, he left them way worse than when he came in there. And that is part of it. You go ahead and get Kevin. Fool's gold. He'll destroy your team. And when he leaves, you'll be worse off than when he came. That's the truth. That's the truth in what's happened with him the last few years. Smooth saying Jabari Smith, Reed Shepard, and Jalen Green in the 10th pick to the Suns. That's the best trade. Why would the Suns take that? They don't want that. They've already said they don't want Jalen Green. They don't want Reed Shepard. Jabari Smith may be the only player there that's interesting in the pick. But yeah, the Suns can move Green to a third team for 5 additional picks. That seems complicated. And in some ways, it may be a much easier deal to work out with San Antonio. Milbester saying, Carlo, Stargate, I got Mark McGuire last night on MLB The Show. Okay. In the video game? Okay. All right. A little bit of a non sequitur here, Milbester. Maybe trade Jalen Green to Brooklyn for Nick Claxton and picks. Suns get a 5 and more draft stuff. Anyway, this isn't a rocket show. Sorry for all this. Yeah, this is over speculation. And like, none of this is real. We're wasting our breath when we say these things. We really do. Smooth saying, anyways, yeah, this isn't a rocket show yet. Stargate saying, Milbester, focus, son. Focus. Raptors freak, get it? Not basketball freak or MLB freak. Raptors freak. Stargate, I'm going to give you a dunk because you're hilarious, man. You're telling this man to focus. Focus. Get back on track here, man. My guy. All right, you've gone over 100. You're at 102. Just broke the century barrier for Stargate on his dunks. Let's see. Chloe's laughing about that. I don't know who will get traded, but it will happen. It happens every year. I do believe the team has better assets this year, and it could get better. I think that doesn't mean there's a trade, Neil. Just because there's a trade, there isn't a trade every year. There really isn't. The Raptors do not trade very often. Seriously, it seems like they do because of recent years and the changing of our team from the old era to the new era. But for the most part, the Raptors are not a very active trading team. So I don't know where we get this moniker. Oh, there's always a trade this summer. No, there's not. The Raptors spend many summers not doing any trades. And we'll just have to see if that pattern holds this year. I think that they're in a good spot. Like what we do, critical thinking, is look at who the Raptors have right now. Do they need to go get anyone? No. And that's critical thinking. We don't need to get anyone. Like I said before, and I was saying it when it happened, this summer, we need to shut up and stop talking about trades and free agency so much because our summer is basically the huge piece that we wanted to do this summer. It was done at the trade deadline, and his name is Brandon Ingram. And that is our summer, honestly. That and the draft. That is our summer. And I would be surprised if the Raptors do much more than this. All this bullshit that's going on right now is all bullshit. And the Raptors will draft their 2 draft picks, will get Brandon healthy, and will come into camp with that stuff. And that's it. There's not going to be that much more trades or changes. What's up, Freak Nation? Brian is here. To the point, Brian is here. And we found out that his place is a backyard, and we're going to be doing a barbecue near the end of August, the beginning of September. The next Raptor Freak Hangout, we haven't set the date or the time exactly, but be ready, Raptor Freaks. And if you're thinking about coming from out of town, well, right around the end of August and the beginning of September is a highlight point to possibly come to our great barbecue we're going to be doing at Brian's house. That's what we're looking at. Yeah, trust in Masai, even if it's Con Knipple. Yeah, if they draft Con Knipple, it'll be reminiscent of them drafting Grady Dick to me. And I'll be like, oh, whoa, we didn't want this player. But Masai saw something. You know, that's what I'll say. And once again, I don't know better than him. I may be saying don't draft Con right now. But if Bobby drafts Con, well, we're going to make the case for why, and we're going to figure it out, just like Grady Dick. Grady Dick was on my no draft list, but I don't know better than Masai Ujiri. He picked Grady Dick, and Grady Dick has worked out. He's actually kept up with the pace, and the size and the speed of the NBA because I didn't think he would from Kansas. I didn't think he had the stuff, but he does. So, and I didn't know. Masai knew better. That's what I'm saying right there. Trust him. Yeah, Con has potential. Well, we'll see. It doesn't matter if we think he has potential. We have to see if Bobby and Masai think he has potential. Stargate saying Con has the potential to be a poor man's Joe Harris or Joe Ingles. You see, that sounds like that could be potentially true. Yeah, Milbester saying, Stargate, I know, I was just referencing the video game. I know. We don't care about what you're doing in the video game. Mark McGuire, old steroids head. Why didn't he get in more trouble for steroids? Those other guys got in a ton more trouble than he did, like Jose and Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa. Why didn't they come after McGuire for that? In that whole home run era of him and Sammy Sosa and all those crazy things. Yeah, they were juiced. They were juiced. Juiced home runs. That's right. Asterisks. Asterisks. All right, let's keep going. Neil's saying, or Kaloy's saying, KD just won't contribute to winning at this point. If you somehow convince him to be a role player and be a six man, then yeah, he could win. That's part of it. I think that in some ways, he's such a predominant kind of player that you need if you're going to have him around, especially in his salary, that he demands to have the ball and do stuff. But in some ways, he'd be better in small doses if you really want to try and win. And that's why I think the Spurs are the right team for him, because in some ways, he doesn't have all the pressure in the world on that team. There will be other people that will be able to be taking that pressure from him. And maybe the Rockets are similar in some ways in what I just said. But that's important for him. In some ways, the stuff in Phoenix, those two other guys weren't going to do it on the side of him. Booker tried. Beal was not. Beal's Beal. And Kevin just didn't add up. It just didn't add up. That team has been horrible in Phoenix the last couple of years, and Brooklyn too. And when has Kevin made the playoffs? Like, when's the last time he was in the playoffs, guys? Let's think about, is he adding up to winning? No, he's not. He's not. He is not. That's right. Let's see. Blackhawks saying Khan is playing second. So Flag, and he was held down in the team when Flag was out. He will have a good career. I will also argue that him playing with Flag and Malawach in the Duke program inflated his way he looks. That if he was on another team, a Joe Schmo team across the country, he may not look so good. He may look more predominant on that team, but he wouldn't have gotten the spotlight, and he wouldn't have gotten the shine, and he wouldn't have got the prestige to possibly be a lottery pick. So, we could look at it this a couple ways. It's two edges. You can say he was held down because he had really good stars around him. Well, he's also propped up because he had very good stars around him. So Stargate saying the player I was referring to above, think Nick Anderson, Kendall Gill, Marcus Liberty, and Kenny Battle. What do all those players have in common? Well, I would say this. Don't put Nick in that category. Kendall Gill is pretty good too. Yeah, Marcus Liberty and Kenny Battle have no business being in the same conversation as those other two guys. Those other two guys were good players, and they had good careers. But Liberty and Battle did not. They did not. So I don't know what you're trying to say exactly. Let's not diss Nick Anderson just because he choked against the Rockets. And Kendall Gill, there's a stunted growth out on him recently that's fantastic. And he'll tell you everything you need to know about Kendall Gill, the pluses and the minuses about his career. Very, very interesting stunted growth, actually. Neil saying, I'd rather be hopeful for these young guys. Not all will make it, but I give them the benefit of my doubt. Well, I don't. And the reason why is because in the last 10 years, there's been too many players coming in the NBA that weren't ready for it. And I'm more likely to have the benefit of the doubt that these guys are coming in unprepared and not correct for the NBA, and they're wasting people's times. Whether it's because they came out early and they didn't get training correctly in how to play basketball correctly. It's been really bad trend that there's been a lot of young players coming in as rookies, and they have to learn how to play basketball correctly in the NBA. It's like they're supposed to learn that in 4 years of college. So no, I can't get behind you on this. The benefit of the doubt is that they're not prepared. And it's rare when they come in like Jamal Shead, is what I'm saying. It's more likely like that these days than that they come in already, as far as I'm concerned. Wayne saying, suggestion, Lex, when the conversation starts to be dominated with speculative nonsense, time to conclude the stream. The value you have built is diminished. I know. I'm with that. That's why I don't want to do this anymore. Reggie, all due respect, I love you, man, but you are too much on the trade tips. I want to be like realistic. If it comes from Shams, I'll allow it, but I just don't want all the different dumb little articles that are put out by every single nook and cranny of social media at this point, because in some ways there's too much. It's mushrooms that pop up in the forest overnight, and we don't need to pick all the mushrooms and kind of see if they're poisonous or not. We can just leave them on the ground, and we don't even need to acknowledge them. That's what maybe I'll say about this, because there's way too many, and a lot of them aren't realistic. And I would say before we bring it to the RFF, let's use the critical thinking ourselves, thinking about whether this is a good rumor or not, and whether this is something that could be justified to talk about on the Raptor Freak stream. I appreciate that, Wayne. And I'm going to give you a dunk for the suggestion. I'm going to really keep it in mind. It's not that it's any particular person. There's a lot of different people that do this, both here and on the Discord and on the Facebook group. So we kind of just want to cut it down because some of it's valid and we should look at, but a lot of it isn't. I would say 90% of it all is garbage and we shouldn't even be talking about it. There is a 10% of rumors that is valid and we should probably look at, but who's to say what is what I'm saying. So Stargate saying, oh, a Blackhawk. Okay, that's the same thing they said about Adam Morrison, and he was a way better college player than Khan. This is true. Adam Morrison out of Gonzaga was really going to be something. This is the thing, this lip service. What do people say? Don't believe words, believe actions. And in some ways, they can talk everybody up. Of course, they want to because they want to make these young men big contracts and get higher in their draft stock. So there's a lot of selling of these people, overselling, and it's not totally reality. So in some ways, we got to understand this, guys. We got to understand this. They're going to lie about their client so they can make some more money. That's right. Milbester's saying speculative nonsense. Wayne has the best vocabulary. Yeah, it's really good. He's right. Speculative nonsense. That's the summer in the NBA. That's what it is. That's pretty much the best two words for the summer in the NBA. Speculative nonsense. Blackhawks saying they want Jalen Williams over SGA, but SGA is not easy to overthrow. This is what I could see, guys. And this could benefit the Raptors in the long run. Maybe the NBA is like, you know what? SGA shouldn't be the face of the league. And the Thunder should pivot towards Americans like Chet and Jalen as being their stars. And maybe we should try and manipulate things so that SGA gets free from the Thunder. Well, that's just going to make Raptors fans in a tizzy. And boy, I don't mind getting involved in SGA speculation to the Raptors. I really don't. I don't. And in some ways, we figure this out. Let's do it. But, that may be part of the thing that happens. An action causes a reaction. You're going to say SGA doesn't need to be in Oklahoma City anymore as the main player anymore, and Jalen Williams should become the franchise player there. Okay, let him go. And hopefully he comes here to Toronto. That's what I would say right there. Yeah, this is all speculation. In some ways, this is a pipe dream. In some ways, this may never, ever happen that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander puts on the Raptors red in the city of Toronto. But, hey, we can talk about it. In some ways, I enjoy talking about this way more than most of the trade speculation we're hearing this summer. That's right. Stargate saying maybe Khan can be JJ Redick type at best. Maybe that's a big if. That's a big maybe. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. People are trying to say Reed Shepherd's the next Mark Price. Okay. All right. Reed Shepherd's the next Mark Price? That's lofty and just kind of assuming a lot. Well, it didn't look like that in his first year in the league, did it? No. He ain't Mark Price. In some ways, that's what it's silly. People are giving too much credit to college players being better than they are. That's why I don't respect college players. That's why I don't think that they're as good as everybody thinks they are when they come in, like Cooper Flagg. I won't believe that shit until we see it in practice, just like Stargate's saying. You guys can talk about how he's going to be a great defensive player. He's going to be all that. I don't believe y'all because he hasn't played against men in the NBA yet. And that man is a little child still compared to them. You think he's going to be one of the best defensive players in the league this year, Amit? You're crazy. No way Cooper Flagg's going to be like that. No way that he'll even be considered for defensive player teams in anywhere in the near future. If OG's got to wait this long into his career to get any kind of defensive shine, you think they're going to just put it on Cooper Flagg like this? Well, if they do, it's racism and favoritism for a guy that they've chosen as a golden boy. That's what I would say. Yeah, there we go. We shall see. I always say where you land matters. This is true. Where you get drafted does very much matter. Let's keep going. I want to finish up the chat very soon, guys. Wayne saying, having watched OKC extensively, I don't see any potential signs of a dynasty that the NBA has to manipulate against. They're a good team, great vibes, but very beatable. Pacers is more built to last. This is interesting. I don't know if I'm totally agreeing with Wayne on this, but I think that both teams have some very good stuff for next year. I think that in some ways, the Thunder do have the best chance of being more of a dynasty out of all the teams in the league right now. But I think dynasties are truly dead. And I think this pattern of a new champion every single year is going to continue to hold. Even though they got there this year, next year, there's no guarantees about being healthy. There's no guarantees about getting the same path in the playoffs. They may run into a Western team that messes them up. I mean, this is the similar thing that I said about the Celtics last year. Don't expect the Celtics to just run into a repeat next year because they did it this year. There's all different settings each season, and you got to have good health and a lot of luck to find yourself back in the finals again, especially in this league of parity. So I'm kind of with Wayne on this as far as like the potential signs of a dynasty or may not be there, but it's not because the Thunder aren't good enough to do it. It's because the league has changed. The league has changed. Trevor's saying Raptors fans crying like snacky nosed kids for a trade. I don't understand that. Why are you Raptors fans so immature that you need a trade? Oh, I need a trade, Daddy. Can I have a trade? No, son. You'll ruin your dinner. And we're going to eat in like 2 hours. But I want a snacky trade. A snacky trade. Shut up, son. Whoa. Maybe it's good I don't have kids. Yikes, man. Oh, so stupid. Don't beat your kids, all right? Just because I did a dumb little scene there. That's right. Neil's saying, disagree, Lex. I am not guaranteeing a trade this summer. I'm just saying it happens every year. Well, we did a trade and the trade deadline. Okay, it happens every year. We did it earlier this year already. That's what I'll say, which means it can happen at the beginning, middle, or end. It's part of business. Yeah. And the business is to build a winning team. And if the trade is not necessary and doesn't need to happen because we're on our path already, that's what I'm trying to say here. I wish people would listen to me. We've got our team and we're good. We need to test it first. I thought we all agreed on this. Until Brandon comes and shows up and plays on the court, we don't need to be making any moves because we got to test this team as it is and not make a move too far. We may be already good and we just need to see Ingram healthy. Seriously, I thought we agreed to this, guys. And that's why I'm like, why are we getting so trade crazy, Raptors fans? You idiots. Come on, let's stop talking about it. Stargate saying the Raptors are good as it is right now. Exactly. Let's just see the pick first, and then let's see what this team can do as is healthy. Exactly. Stargate and I are in the same choir, singing the same song. Exactly. Yeah. If things look like it's not working, then trade deadline, we pivot. Exactly. And this is what I've been saying, Raptors fans, all in its good order. And hopefully this doesn't have to happen because we get in the season, we have a pretty nice schedule for once. We haven't had one in a couple of years now. And we have health. And we win a lot in the first half of the season. And by trade deadline, we don't need to make a trade because everybody's like, our team is good. We don't need to make a move. That could happen. Or it could be that the team doesn't go well and things are going wrong and we have to make a change at that point. So I don't see anything happening with the Raptors unless it's a weird draft day deal with picks and kind of a strategy there. Doing anything drastic until next year's trade deadline, like next year in 2026. Will be a move then because that makes more sense then because our team, if it's not working with Brandon, well, then maybe we pivot then, like Stargate is saying. Wayne's saying if the speculators want to speculate, then speculate about how great Ingram's going to be for the Raptors. Exactly. I don't know why y'all take the speculation from people that hate us. Why don't we not start making our own speculation? Kyrie Irving to the Raptors as a free agent. Let's speculate that. Let's speculate SGA coming to the Raptors someday, even though it's not realistic anytime soon. You can speculate good things for us instead of all this bullshit y'all keep bringing us as far as Giannis and Kevin. Those aren't good things. Trust me. This Giannis sweepstakes for the Raptors was over, and it ended in like 2020, y'all. So stop going for Giannis. Giannis is not the right fit for our team at this point. That's right. Speculate to build a dynasty here in Toronto. That's right. Wayne, sing it. That's exactly right. Let's speculate good things for our team, Raptors Nation. Come on now. Neil's saying OKC will be a dynasty as long as the other teams don't get physical enough against them. We'll have to see. Once again, the settings every year change, and they may not have exactly the same season as far as how well they do in the regular season. And, luck with injuries in different places too. Stargate saying, no. I'm referring to the player that is alluding to the above, Lex. The one I didn't mention by name. What do those four players all have in common? Think about it. Then you will have your answer. Trivia. Oh my gosh, man. I'm jumping from subject to subject. I don't even remember. You're talking about the Kenny Battle, Nick Anderson. They all went to Illinois, right? Is that what the answer is? They went to the city of Illinois for school. That's what it is, isn't it? Marcus Liberty, Kendall Gill, they all went to Illinois. I think that's right. Isn't it? I don't know. I may be failing at trivia. Kaloy's saying at this point, these guys aren't basketball fans, just basketball speculators and financial analysts, and then add all the rumors feeding the frenzy, using so much energy on a bunch of nothing. And then add in the bet people that just like follow sports because they're betting all the time and they care about things that have to do with how they can win bets, and they don't even care about the team. They just worry about winning bets. And some of their motives for what they want the team to do may be partly because of just betting interests, that they're not actually fans of the sport or the team. They just want to manipulate things to try and help themselves to be able to make more money in bets. That's a whole other aspect of Fan Nation that we don't talk about enough, that is very much a reality at this point. That there's some fans that aren't fans of the sport and aren't fans of the team, aren't fans of the city. They're purely there for their own financial reasons, whether they're at the games or they're just kind of in social media places. Milbester said the only advantage OKC has in that they can build a dynasty is that they're really young and have plenty of draft picks and rebuild it nicely without holding the franchise back, and now close to a title. Yeah, that is impressive. The second youngest team ever in the finals after Bill Walton's champion Portland Trailblazers in '77. Yeah, that is pretty impressive that they got there at this age. And I mean, that shows that the last couple of years they've been fast tracking with the young core to get there. Hopefully we can mimic that here in Toronto with a knowledgeable, kind of sneakily veteran young core that the Raptors have with RJ and Scotty and Emmanuel. So in some ways we can steal some of the characteristics of the Thunder for the Raptors' success in the next couple of years. That'd be great. That if a young core in Toronto could get as high as they did this year, that'd be fantastic. That'd be fantastic. Stargate saying that I agree with Blackhawk about OKC. It looks like a dynasty in the making. We'll have to see. It's all. That's what I'm trying to say is it does look like it, and a lot of experts are saying they're going to be a dynasty for sure. But there's nothing guaranteed, and don't underestimate the NBA trying to rip it apart. And also just the new way that the NBA is. It's not easy to do this. Amit's saying, I don't think it's racism, but he will and is being hyped up because of favoritism. I believe in Flagg's defense in his rookie year, but I will say you're right if I'm wrong. It's all good. It's just that it really is, Amit, that I'm skeptical of today's college game as far as how much it really translates between the two. In some ways, the old NCAA tournament and different things about it was bona fide. And like you really could like kind of pretend that like or you could see the Michael Jordan Tar Heels to the NBA, like, you know, you could see some of the stuff. It's not totally clear for me with Cooper. And part of it is he's supposed to be in high school right now. Part of it is that a lot of the insight and things that he does, it may not translate. I'm telling you right now, it may not translate because this is a thing. Cooper Flagg's going to have a learning curve no matter what in the NBA. He's going to have to learn how it is the NBA game. And he's not going to be as smooth as everybody thinks it is. It really isn't. It could be that he's similar to Grady in some ways, where he has a little bit of a stumbling block at the beginning because of high expectations. Maybe he has a really shitty first half of his year, but then he figures out a little bit after Christmas, and he has a very good second half of his season. I'm going to fully predict that right now for Cooper Flagg, that he's going to come out, he's going to fail, he's going to look horrible at the beginning, but there'll be a learning curve and he'll get better. In the second half, he'll look better in the second half of the year. Think about Risa Shea this year also for Atlanta. He absolutely stunk the first half of the season, and he came on strong in the second half after he figured out a little bit about the league. And Cooper Flagg doesn't understand the NBA at all right now. And that's one thing that everybody forgets about these college draft picks. They got to learn the league. Welcome to the league moments mean something, and they matter. So, I like that you're saying that you don't think it's racism, but let's not get it twisted. He's a white American. He's going to get a lot of preference because he's American and he's a white guy. So in some ways, they want a white guy to be one of the focal main faces. Luka and Dirk, they were foreigners, and as far as the main white guys in the league. In some ways, Cooper Flagg is a godsend to them, and they will overhype him for sure. Yeah, Fiercely wants that classic card. Yeah, we're going to do this. Blackhawks saying the physicality is lopsided in this finals. I think the physicality is going both ways. I don't know if you're trying to say so one side's getting physicality and one side isn't. No, that's not true. Both sides are being very physical. We're seeing Pascal throw Chet around like a screen door. We're seeing Lou Dort putting submission holds on Halliburton and the Indiana guards. So there's physicality going both ways. Both ways, yeah. I'm going to say, Fiercely, too bad I will be getting it. Laugh out loud. You're getting the classic card. He wants to get the classic card. There you go. Isaac's got me on blast. Stargate saying Reed Shepard's the next two. Mark Price. Did they know how good Mark Price was? People are crazy. Mark Price was the second best point guard in the East at that time behind Isaiah Thomas. Just that good. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But that's something that they said. That was the comparison. He's going to be like a Mark Price coming in the league. Doesn't translate. I'm telling you. Fiercely saying, Adam, I forgot you also solid on them. Today will be interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see. Neil saying, you said we need a center and point guard. Any of those can happen through a trade, draft, and free agency. I'm not narrowing my vision to the draft. Well, historically, nobody wants to trade with the Raptors because they're afraid of getting fleeced by Masai. And historically, we don't get free agents because people don't want to play in Toronto. So it's usually the way we're talking about, Neil. And realistically, it's through the draft and it's through trades that we get stuff done. But right now, we don't need to do a trade, and we have draft picks, and we're going to do it that way. So it's not usual that free agency is the way we're doing this, is what I'm trying to say right here. It's not usually that. And in some ways, we don't really need to make a trade. Seymour's saying, number one Raptors channel is right here. I appreciate that, Seymour. I really do. Kaloy saying, get ready, Lex. When the Raptors start winning, this channel is going to blow up. You are going to be famous in Toronto. I hope so. Not that I don't want to for being famous. I want us to win and be blowing up because our Raptors are kicking so much ass. It's true. I feel like in the last few years, the Raptors have had trouble and we've languished a bit on the Raptor Freak channel. And when we've had our highest peaks is when the Raptors were playing Philadelphia in the playoffs and also other places where very good, successful things are happening. So the success of the team will help me on my channel for sure. And I'm all about this. We will get there. We will get there as a team. I don't care about the channel as much. I want the Raptors to get that next Larry O'Brien. That's right. Wayne saying the Walton youngest team won that year. They did it consistent. Okay, the Walton youngest team won that year. Did they consistently reach the finals? Did they win any more championships? Consider outcome, not just one-time events. View the trend. He's exactly right. The Portland Trailblazers did not win the next year. In fact, this was the weird period of the NBA that's similar to now. They had different championships for every single year in the 70s for the most part, except, and then the 80s, it became Showtime and Boston, trading the championship back and forth between Magic and Larry. And that around that time, we had Golden State win in 75. We had the Washington Wizards or Bullets win in 76. And then we had the Trailblazers win. And we had the Sonics won. They were very different teams were winning the championship in the late 70s. And that is exactly right. Stargate is exactly on point with that point about the Portland Trailblazers championship. Exactly right. Bester saying, I'm just laughing how Oilers fans trying to get Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, the Panthers. Yeah, don't do this. Bester, you can get your second strike because I'm an Oiler fan in this situation. You're talking about me when you're saying you're laughing at me for us losing again. I'm with Oilers Nation. I wanted them to win very badly because I'm a Canadian and I wanted to see the cup come home. So, yeah, let's not talk about this. I've already covered the result of the game last night. It's over and done with. We don't talk about hockey on this channel. Hockey season's over. And if you want to rub it in, this isn't the place to do it. I'm going to tell you that right now. Let's see. I'm going to just skip your comment, the rest of it. Mo's saying, good morning, good afternoon. Oh, yeah, it is afternoon, right? Yeah, it is afternoon. She's right. Mo, good to see you. Thank you for coming to the stream today. Smooth saying Reed Shepard is the next Brent Price, not Mark. That's all right. You get a dunk for that. You get a dunk for that, Smooth. That's exactly right there. That is a good one right there. 148 for Reggie on the dunk chart. He's actually leading our dunks this year. He's going to be the dunk champion and the trivia champion. It's looking like that right now. Somebody's got to catch up with him. I'm being funny. Kaloy saying, so right now we have a core of solid Raps community right now. This will change once the hype starts again. That's right. And listen, if you guys are out there and you see toxicness and you see other fans like us that are languishing because they can't find good Raptors content, bring them to us. Seriously, bring them here. And hopefully they'll get some sanity in the middle of the chaos and all the speculation and the silliness. Stargate saying, right now I believe Bobby and Masai are trying to build an adequate complementary bench to the projected starters. We, the backup center, backup point guard, plethora of capable wings. Now they can concentrate on power forward and center positions. Yeah, we've got a real wide array of wings, and in some ways, some of them will get traded at some point. But we don't. We want to wait and develop them all and continue to grow them, and we'll figure out who gets traded for some piece that we need later. And that's really what it is right there, Raptors fans. And that's the schedule. That's the schedule right there. So we're saying, Milbester, it's Montreal in the 70s. Okay, Edmonton is close second, in my opinion. Yeah, Montreal has the most championships in the NHL, more than any American team, and Edmonton has a lot too. So there you go. There you go. Piercy saying, "Sorry to add to the stream, Lex, but we can talk about it tomorrow before I forget. We thought players don't want to come to Toronto, but yesterday Stephen A. made a controversial statement in reference to Memphis being dangerous." Yeah, I mean, it may be dangerous because of their star player. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, all cities can be dangerous in certain parts. I mean, Stephen A. Smith's an idiot. In some ways, once again, don't listen to him at all. He's an entertainer. He's not actually a journalist. He's not actually an expert on the NBA either. He's just a blowhard loudmouth that is for entertainment. He's an entertainer. We got to remember this. He's not a real journalist. He's not really an NBA expert because he really doesn't cover it correctly. So let's see. And players want to avoid it. Ja Morant responded via social media. That's funny, man. I like that. Mobester's saying, Lex, don't worry about it. You know I wasn't trying to rub it in. They had a good season. I'm just glad a small market team brought 2 titles to a city where the NHL isn't big. Fuck all that. Fuck that. Florida does not appreciate the championships down there like we would up here. In some ways, it's wasted on the Panthers. But Gary Bettman wants to have strengthening the NHL in the South. So all the cups have to go south to places where people don't really give a shit because they're on the beach and they don't really give a shit about hockey. And the people that really care about the hockey up here suffer for it. So it's all in the name of the way the NHL wants to market and try and grow in the southern markets. They know they got the Canadian markets fine. And this is part of the reason on the down low we haven't won in 32 years is because the NHL understands that the Canadian teams will be supported and loved by the Canadians no matter what, whether they win or not. And it's much more important for teams down south like the Lightning and the Panthers to win championships to increase the interest in those areas and the money and the revenue so that they can continue to have southern teams. How many teams have left the southern United States in the NHL because they were not correctly taken care of financially? Atlanta Thrashers, Phoenix Coyotes. You know, this happens because those teams weren't supposed to be there in the first place because there isn't really a hockey market down there. So they try and manufacture it by giving championships to those teams down there to keep them alive. The Florida Panthers could have ran out of business 5 years ago if they hadn't won some championships. So don't get it twisted. This is script writing on a major level to prop up those markets so the NHL can continue to have a foothold in the southern United States. They've already lost a couple teams because they didn't do it right. If Gary Bettman could have had his way, he would have funneled championships more to Phoenix and Atlanta, and they wouldn't have lost their teams. So, yeah, let's not get it twisted, Milbester. Let's think about this correctly. And you could go ahead and say, oh, that's awesome. A small market won it down in Florida. Fuck them. They didn't deserve those championships, and it's Gary Bettman's manipulation to try and increase the NHL's presence in markets that they shouldn't even be in, honestly, because the interest isn't really there. Somebody was trying to say yesterday that basketball won't do well in Mexico because of culture. Well, hockey doesn't do well in warm weather. Let's just put it that way. And that's it right there. So, yeah, I can't get with you on this. I can't get with you on this, man. I can't get with you on this. That's right. Amit's saying, just got an alert on my phone. Rockets are coming here, so I have to go to my bomb shelter. Not great service there, so I might not be able to watch the rest of the stream. You're totally excused. If you can't watch the rest of the stream, Mama, if you can't get the classic card because of that, holy crap. I totally understand. Listen, that means things are getting more serious between Iran and Israel right now. Because Amit's going to his bomb shelter in Israel right now. That's crazy, man. Stargate saying, why are people sleeping on the acquisition of Ingram? Because they want to, because they want to deny it, because they don't want to believe the truth about it, because they don't want to think that this could happen. In fact, a lot of people are hoping that he just stays injured and never shows up and plays for us. And that's part of it. They won't admit it until they see the reality when he comes out there healthy and he does what he does. Then they'll see it. He is a former All-Star. He's a former number 2 pick in the draft. And the only reason he was not successful in LA was LeBron ran him out of town for AD. Yep, and yep. Stargate is on point. Listen, there's not many of y'all would say, listen, if I'm not here, take my opinion from Stargate. Seriously, because him and I think alike on a lot of things. Seriously. Smooth saying he called Memphis the murder capital of the USA. Well, he's wrong. The murder capital of the USA is Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, is the murder capital also. And I think New Orleans actually has a higher murder rate than Memphis in some ways also. But once again, this is all boogeyman scare tactics by certain sides saying that crime is up and all this stuff. It's actually not. Crime is down overall everywhere. It's a right-wing ploy to make people scared to vote in certain ways that they want them to by using the boogeyman of crime and immigrants and all this kind of shit. Serious crime is down overall in the statistics everywhere. And that's not the truth that the right-wingers won't tell you. They use crime to scare old ladies to vote for what they want them to vote. Listen, crime is not that bad anywhere. Stephen A. Smith, shame on you for adding to that, especially as a black man. Seriously, you shouldn't be doing that, especially to a city like Memphis. It's a great city. And seriously, you're labeling them like that? That's messed up, man. Fiercely saying Stephen A is an entertainer who plays solitaire during playoffs. I know. If he was so serious about basketball, he'd watch the damn game. Seriously, he's an entertainer. And obviously, he's not watching the game if he's playing solitaire. I show Speed saying the Raptors need Giannis so bad. No, we don't. Why do we need Giannis, bro? I show Speed. Are you talking about Speed, the guy who's like jumping over cars? Nah, man. Listen, the Raptors do not need Giannis. We have Scotty. We have Brandon. We have RJ. And I'll take those three guys over Giannis any day. Giannis has got a championship. In some ways, his appetite to win another championship is satiated. Seriously. He's not hungry to get another one. In some ways, he could spin his wheels for the rest of his career and never win another one. He'd be a success still. I don't agree with people saying that his legacy is bad if he never wins again. I don't agree with that. The NBA championship is hard to do and is very rare. So I would say this. We don't need him. We got a team built around Scotty. We get Giannis. He's going to cause more problems than he'll help. So, yeah, totally disagree. Horrible statement, I show Speed. But welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Fiercely saying, yeah, respectfully, we don't need Giannis. Yeah, we really don't. And honestly, a lot of us don't want him either. Let's see. Stargate saying in New Orleans was injury issues and playing second fiddle to Zion. Yeah, trolling the chat. No, I show Speed has been here before. I remember I show Speed. And it may be just a youthful and vigorous Raptor fan who really thinks Giannis is the key. But he isn't. And we could educate you here, I show Speed, if you want. You go back and watch all the reasons. We'll tell you why. That's right. I'm Wayne saying, wow, stay safe, Ahmed. I truly wish the best for your safety and your family. Stay safe. Bless Ahmed. Yeah. Yeah, Ahmed's a good kid. He understands the truth in the middle of the madness. And in some ways, he's not complicit in the war crimes of Israel, like the American government, the Canadian government, like Netanyahu and those people. No, he's just a kid who lives in Israel. And if he had his way, peace would be the way. And I appreciate and respect him for that. That's right there. Melvin's saying Panthers almost won in 96, but that was the first year the Avalanche moved to Colorado from Quebec Nordiques. At least they finally won two. I'm telling you, this is the reason why Canada hasn't won for 32 years. And my friend Steve has told me he's a huge NHL fan. He knows the cup will never come back to Canada as long as Gary Bettman's in charge. It's totally his design and what I just said as far as things. So I was like, go ahead and gloat that the Edmonton Oilers lost again. The script was written by the NHL, and they want the Panthers to win over the Oilers because the Canada market's good, it's solid. Oilers fans are going to come and support their team no matter what, even if they lose like this. Florida fans, no, they won't. They won't support their team unless they're winning and they can feel like winners and supporting it. So that's the difference right there. Let's not be naive here. Let's not be naive. Ahmed saying, I should be fine. Bomb shelters, they're there for a reason. Yeah, really. They went from one Stanley Cup appearance to 4 and 3 straight years, but then losing to Golden Knights prepared them for back-to-back titles. Yeah, a little history on the Panthers. No, now we have an alarm 3-4 times a day at least, sometimes more. Well, it's good to be prepared and precaution, I'm sure. Mo's saying Toronto just worked out Memphis star Dean Danja, late add-on. Mo, thank you for giving me the updated list on who's been working out for the Raptors and pre-draft workouts. I'll read the list over again real quick right now because Mo just posted it yesterday. The list that's right here is Australia's Alex Tui has come and worked out for the Raptors. Jameer Watkins of Florida State has worked out. Johnny Broom of Auburn. Kobe Sanders of Nevada. Ryan Nebhart of Gonzaga from Canada and Aurora. Dylan Cardwell of Auburn. TJ Bamba of Oregon and Lamont Butler of Kentucky are the short list there for people that have worked out for the Raptors in pre-draft. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here. That's right. Let's see. Kaloy saying, haha, I show Speed, the same one with 4 million subscribers, 40 million subscribers. If it is, hey, give me a hype train, I show Speed. Give me a hype train. I know this isn't Twitch, but give me a hype train, I show Speed. Come on now. If that is actually I show Speed, that'd be hilarious. In some ways, listen, I respect your grind and getting your following, but man, we don't need Giannis, okay? Just trust me on this. We don't need Giannis. See, he's part of the agents that are trying to cause confusions here. Smith saying KD shot down a 3-team trade that would have landed him in Minnesota. He's tripling down on not wanting to be in Minnesota. Yeah. I know. I believe that one too. I really do. And Amit's saying, only way I'd say it's I show speed was if he came in here saying arf, arf, arf like a dog. Crazy dude. All right. And Stargate saying, Lex, you missed some comments. All right. Let me see. Man, it's such a long stream. I'm way over. I'm almost at 3 hours. I don't care right now, Stargate. I got to just finish this. Milbester saying, Lex, you still believe that if the NHL didn't move the Quebec Nordiques to Colorado? All right, we're doing the NHL. I don't want to do this too much. I don't know. I don't even care about any of that. Most got my cut off here. And Kaloy's saying, yo, that was him. I looked at the profile. He has the same picture. If that's I show speed, I'm cool. I'm honored that he was here, man. Thank you for coming in here. Do you jump the car? Seriously? On Ingram right after Amit's alert comment. Let me see. Oh, man. In some ways, seriously, I got to get out of here, man. It's almost 3 hours, and I do have some stuff I have to do today. We're going to do a lot of birthday stuff today. I can't do this, Stargate. I know I'm sorry I do this. He's saying KD wants a ring. A vet contract on the Lakers would make sense. I will entertain this if this is I show speed. All right. As far as that, that would be interesting and fun to see KD playing with LeBron. But once again, you put him with Luka and LeBron, that doesn't necessarily equal just an automatic ring. That's too good to be true. That's kind of like the NBA is not shortcuts anymore. You have to do it the way the Thunder and the Pacers do it. And if the Lakers want to try and make a shortcut by adding Kevin Durant to their team, just suddenly, somehow, some way, go ahead and try it. It won't work. Everything the Lakers have tried to do the last few years has been shortcuts. And has any of it worked? I show speed. That's what I say. All due respect, man. If you are the internet giant that is I show speed, I appreciate your presence. I really do. I really do. He's saying Brandon Ingram is a poor man's Porzingis. No, he's better than that. He's a poor man's Kevin Durant. He's maybe even a better Kevin Durant than Kevin Durant is currently. We have to find out when he comes back from the ankle injury. The man could be very overwhelmingly powerful. Listen, don't ever doubt Dr. Alex McKechnie, who got the best healthy year out of Kawhi Leonard in the last 6 years when the Raptors won the championship with the finals MVP named Leonard. This is the thing. Our doctor's already working with Brandon Ingram. And I don't know who the hell the doctors were in New Orleans. They got a voodoo shop. Maybe they had a witch doctor down there working with Brandon Ingram. Either way, they ain't got the right kind of team around their franchise like the Raptors do. So let's not get it twisted. If anybody's going to get the Brandon Ingram healthy and back to an all-star level, it will be the Toronto Raptors with Dr. Alex McKechnie, Doctor of Sports Science, Executive Vice President of the Toronto Raptors. Yeah. That's what's going to happen right there, Speed. So, don't even give me this Porzingis stuff. No. Brandon is more skilled than that. Brandon is a taller Kobe Bryant. And that is evidenced by the mannerisms that he copied from Kobe. That's right. Yeah, don't forget about classic card. I got it right here in my hand. I'm about to pull it. Y'all keep talking. Can you do the arf for confirmation? Yeah, we'll have to see, man. Can you do the arf? We want to believe that it is actually you, but we don't know if it is actually you. Who's this card? I can't even see who it is. Oh, that's a hard one. This will be a hard classic card today, guys. Let's see. Panthers 2-peat and Messi didn't say hi to me. There you go. Yeah, Messi didn't say hi to him. Remember that? I remember that. Watch KD go to the Mavs to pair with Cooper Flagg as a mentor like Chris Paul and Wembanyama. I want to see KD go to San Antonio. That makes the most sense to me. He said he wants to go to San Antonio or Houston. So it looks like it'll be one of those two teams. I think Miami has an outside shot. I think that Cooper Flagg is going to get traded from Dallas to the East, and he might get traded to the Washington Wizards or something weird like that, guys. And then Kyrie's going to leave Dallas too. And Dallas is going to be a lot different than you guys think it's going to be. It's not going to be as good as everybody thinks it's going to be. They're going to be a bad team next year, even though they had all this crazy stuff happen with Luka getting traded and getting the first pick out of the blue. Cooper Flagg don't want to play for them. Kyrie Irving don't want to play for them either. So, I don't see this with Dallas, my guy. I don't see this, man. But it's an interesting idea what you're putting forth. All right, here's a classic card. First person to write the full name answer on the classic card will get the classic card points. This is a difficult one. Let's see if the new school old heads might not do this one very well. Am I covering it right? Like, I hate these cards because it actually has his name in two places. And I have to do weird stuff to cover the name. So, can you tell who that is? Amit got it right away, it looks like. Amit Gaming just ahead of Smooth. It is Josh Okogie. Yeah, I was like, this is a little bit of a difficult classic card because he's a more recent player. Josh Okogie is the answer. Amit is getting his second day in a row, and he's going to a bomb shelter. So come on, man. This guy is on it, bro. Seriously, that's amazing. All right, let me write it in. We're at 3 hours. I can't believe I've done 3 hours again. I really miss Mo being here on time because, like, man, I need the cutoff. Seriously, this is way too long. This is way too long, and y'all are wasting my time with too much draft talk. Not draft talk, speculation talk. And I ain't about it. I ain't about it. This is another 200 card because Josh is like that. Amit, you got 200 points for the classic card today. There you go. Easy, easy. Yeah, not for me either. That's an old head's game is not on that one. That's right. That's right. All right, let's finish it up. Let me see if I got all my tabs. We're talking about Naismith Cup today, and well, we need Amit to do some investigating when it's a safer, peaceful time in his country and go down there and see if he can find the location of the Naismith Cup. And we'll be updating this story, this investigation, this saga over the months and weeks and years to come. We will find this out. We won't let this go. This will be one of our missions as the Raptor Freak family. We're going to figure out the Naismith Cup mystery, just like the Hardy Boys and Encyclopedia Brown and Nancy Drew. We're going to have this mystery solved, the mystery of the Naismith Cup. And Amit is our lead researcher and investigator right now. Yeah, let's see. I'll go ahead and just skip through this stuff. Raptors Reddit reactions. Who cares? I don't even care what y'all are saying there. Y'all are saying a bunch of garbage on there usually. Happy birthday to Kenrick, Chronic Art James. Once again, Kenrick's birthday is today. If y'all need a tattoo in the Toronto area or you want some art commission, Kenrick can be your guy to take care of that stuff for you guys. So yeah, let's finish it up. Let's get out of here. It's 3 hours. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream, 3-hour mega extravaganza. Tomorrow, Thursday Think Tank, where you can call me on the phone. I'll put you live on the phone, and you can talk on the air with me. We're going to be talking about Jean Berenguer and Carter Bryant and a couple other draft prospects that the Raptors might possibly take at the 9th pick. So please join me tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. on the Thursday Think Tank when we're going over the big man from France. That's right. Speed saying, did you cry when Caitlin Clark was shoved to the ground? Not me, man. I didn't watch that game. In some ways, it's like, don't hurt her. She's important to the league. She's like the cash cow for the league right now. So don't hurt Caitlin and let her do whatever the hell she wants because she can, because she's the LeBron James of her league right now. She's the most important player, marketable-wise. Angel Reese is there, too. It's a very Magic Johnson, Larry Bird kind of thing in the WNBA right now. And no, I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I'm not an Indiana Fever fan. I'm a Toronto Tempo fan. And next year when we come to the league, y'all will be talking about us. That's right. Stay safe to Amit. That's right. Let's pray for world peace. Yeah, saner heads prevailed. Remember, Donald Trump is not a king. He cannot declare war on Iran unilaterally by himself. He has to have Congress vote for them to be engaged in war. If he does anything that is aggressive without the approval of Congress, he is acting out of bounds above his authority. He is not a king as much as he wishes he was. He wants people to bow down to him. So we got to watch how the U.S. interacts with this whole thing, with the conflict with Iran and Israel, because in some ways they need to continue to respect the Constitution of the United States, even though most of the government is not doing that right now. Let's just put it that way. All right. Stay safe, y'all. Thank you, iShowSpeed. Bring the hype train next time. I want to get those hyped up people in here, coming in through here, say, yo, iShowSpeed, and just write all kinds of crazy stuff about iShowSpeed in here, just like on a Twitch thing. And I know you did that to Scotty at some point, right? Scotty Barnes, you went in and hype trained him. All right. I appreciate everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the Thursday Think Tank. Let's go, Raptors.